Welcome back to another edition of 13 Cards Subject to Change. I'm here, Leroy's here, Jesse is on the way. I don't know if you were told this earlier, but Jesse had a few stomach pains this morning. He says it might be from something he ate, so he's not the best, so he's going to show up.
Or is it from watching his Jets play? Because that gave me indigestion today myself.
I was not going to go there, but you're welcome to do that when he finally walks in the door.
Well, I'm dealing with my own ailment. I'm not going to talk about it because it's not nice. But yeah, I understand where he's coming from.
Yeah, you know what? That's fair. At first, I thought maybe I am now in a room with someone who's tested positive for COVID. Then I realized you already told me what that ailment is, so we'll leave it at that.
Oh, shit.
We had a week in wrestling. And
I'm from the 70s. I can't get COVID. You know
that's fair. That's fair. We had a week in wrestling. Oh, my God. What didn't happen?
Championships galore.
We're going to talk about championships. We're going to talk about debuts, new beginnings, ends of eras. We're going to talk a little bit about the plane ride from hell.
Number 3.
Yep. Yep. We're going to talk about a lot of things, but today's word of the day, Leroy.
All right, yes.
We're going to go all the way back to Sesame. You said child of the 70s. We're going to talk about Sesame Street was a big thing when you were growing up.
Heck yeah, I said my little jumpers in front of there watching Kermit.
So today's word of the day gets to be hypocrisy, hypocrite, whatever you'd like it to be in this case.
I love those big words.
Yeah, we're going to go with a big word called hypocrisy. And basically what it is in the wrestling terms, supporting something that you have already flat out said is garbage, but yet for some strange reason you can't see that you're doing it. Anyway, so we ended the show last week. Went a little long, but it was a good show. We had a lot of fun with a lot of the results and everything. It was a great way to go. But we were talking a little bit about the follow-up to All Out that AEW had. And so let's go ahead, and when Jesse, like I said, walks in, we'll get him caught up. But I think the one thing that we need to talk about is the quote-unquote Wednesday Night Raw that happened following this whole thing.
That's what we're calling it?
Leroy,
I don't know.
Leroy, the fact of the matter is that what started this whole real underground hate for the WWE was, I would say the peak of the hate was when the Authority was running Monday Night Raw. And I think, and at that point, Raw started to become kind of stagnant. Raw wasn't really building too many stars. And the Authority was kind of running the place. Seth was champion, but he was kind of off to the side. But in the Authority is the best way that I can put that. Edge had kind of just come back in a role that I don't think anybody really wanted to see him in. Cena was on the way out. I think what we saw was people got mad because Raw would start every week the same way. A 20-minute promo by Stephanie McMahon and the Authority. You remember those promos. Stephanie would come out and basically just talk for 20 to 30 minutes, and there wasn't a lot
pretty much tell us, this is what we think you want because we're the Authority.
Right, yeah, exactly. And now, AEW follows up one of the biggest nights they've ever had, 200,000 pay-per-view buys, highly successful night, where you debuted not just Adam Cole, baby, but Bryan Danielson, the American Dragon, and Danielson looked great, by the way. Bryan looks phenomenal. Absolutely, cannot wait to see him wrestle. But I think it's the fact that we need to address a few things in the room here. Ruby Soho also would debuted. Lovely song by Rancid, too. Love myself some Ruby Soho by Rancid.
Oh, yes.
Great album as well.
But anyway, we rip on AEW, but I do agree that they put a pretty solid pay-per-view up.
Oh yeah,
I give them good.
It was very good. But the follow-up, my God, was this bad? You've caught some highlights. You've seen some things that have happened.
It was called, I don't know, Dynamite Super Talk Show? Something like that.
All I can say is this. I talked about how you now have Adam Cole, Bryan Danielson, and CM Punk.
Yeah.
And yet, I don't know if people are starting to realize you're cheering for them because they're fresh off of WWE. CM Punk, the last thing he did in professional wrestling was with the WWE. And the hypocrisy lies in this. That was the most sports entertainment show I've ever seen AEW do.
Yeah.
And what bothered me the most was the Elite shows up. And we're going to jump around the show because that's all they do. Like I said, why should we...
It works for us,
Why
so it
should
works for
we
them,
do
yeah.
the show segment to segment when they can't even figure out how to do it segment to segment? That's how I always look at it.
Oh, yeah.
So the Elite comes out, and my God, are the Young Bucks the most uncool thing I've ever seen in my life.
What were they wearing this week? Or you're not sure?
Let's just say one of the Bucks decided that he thought it'd be super cool to have that thing where he's got a nose ring and then it's clipped to a rope that goes to his earring.
Oh my God.
That happened.
Wow.
Also, apparently, Don Callis decided to come out with his Pepto-Bismol jacket once.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing that. And then
so elegantly put by Jim Cornette. The bright pink. But what's really funny is, Leroy.
Yes, I'm ready.
I think Leroy. I
Yes.
think they're listening to Jim Cornette.
Holy shit!
Because this whole Elite thing has been the manager Don Callis would come out in a fairly nice suit, decent jacket, nice press shirt,
yeah.
The shoes, and Kenny would look like a bum. Kenny would look like an absolute bum off the street, not a world champion of the most
definitely.
protected title in all of professional wrestling. We'll get to that in a second. But anyway, Don is now wearing either bright powder blue or pink suits. I don't know if he was happy for the baby reveal that Candice and Johnny had on their
That was
on their
I did
on their
enjoy that,
Twitter.
yes,
I thought that was and that was so Gargano too. I mean, that was so awesome to see. And by the way, congratulations off the top for those two for a baby boy is on the way. I know Johnny's excited. I know Candice is probably equally as excited despite the way.
Yeah, she had to take a shower. But
Yeah.
my kids both laughed
Yes,
and
of course,
enjoyed
yeah.
that.
But Kenny wore a simple white shirt. He still has the blue and black hair, which I don't understand where that change came. It kind of reminds me of when Cody left after getting beat by Brody Lee and then came back and his hair was jet black for the match, and then all of a sudden right after he defeats Brody Lee he goes back to the blonde hair. There was never an explanation as to why he had the black hair, but then again there was never an explanation as to why he had the first half black half white child in the history of Atlanta, Georgia. But we're not gonna delve into that because I still don't know what he was talking about.
I don't know either. Midlife crisis, that's what it went from black hair down back to blonde. I don't know.
There was a midlife crisis mixed in with dementia in that promo, and that's all I have to say going forward on that.
Probably. Yeah.
But anyway, so they announce, and by the way, I don't know if you've noticed, but they have a theme now directly affecting the Elite.
Oh,
And
really?
it's literally just this soundbite of "Be Elite, B-E, Elite," or something like that, and they just walk out, and it's just, I mean, it's literally all they're missing are the male cheerleaders. Is the Spirit Squad still in the business? Because I feel like we could just easily.
Well, they are still around, but one of them is kind of tied up with WWE, so we can't do that anymore. But everybody else is still around.
What's Dykstra doing these days? Because clearly he ain't got any
probably
better to
nothing.
do. Yeah, all right. But anyway, but it's like no, but I mean, whereas in Bullet Club, there was the opening to all of their music was Bullet Club, and then that soundbite played before the entrance musics, and they're trying to recreate that with the Elite, but it goes on. I don't know if they have a full theme or if it's just B Elite, because that's all you can hear until they cut the music. But anyway,
that's probably about what it is, because creatively, if the Young Bucks did it, that's about all they got.
Oh, this segment gets worse. Okay,
it can get worse. Wait a minute. Yeah, then the Young
like I
Bucks.
said, this is the most WWE thing they've ever done, and I'll explain why in a second.
Yes.
So they come out. Kenny's on top of the world. Of course, the Young Bucks aren't, because apparently they had a cage match that was better than Edge, Christian, the Hardys, and Dudleys at WrestleMania.
Yes, one of the greatest tag cage matches of all time.
Yeah, but
whatever.
Anyway, here's the deal. It was good, but
Yeah, I know.
it was mostly good because of what the Lucha Brothers did, not because of what the Bucks were doing.
No, that's true.
But
so
but
true.
anyway,
so
they all come out, and there's now I think 8 people in the Elite. Imagine this visual. You've got Don and Kenny. You've got the Bucks. You've got the Good for Nothing brothers, because at this point they're literally doing nothing on AEW
They're
television.
not doing on anything. No.
And then they had Nakazawa and Brandon Cutler.
Nakamura?
Knock it the fuck off my television. I don't care
There we
anymore.
go. Yeah, that works.
And then
too.
Brandon, the other white meat cutlet, was basically out there. But here's the thing. It's funny. Jim will give them these names, but he's so spot on with what's actually happening, I can't call them anything else because,
No.
as Jesse has pointed out numerous times, Brandon Cutler has been a joke since he's come back. He should just go back to retirement. We're going to tell Jesse this a little later in the show. This might perk him up, even though he's not been feeling well. Apparently, an article from the Sportster came out this morning that said Brandon Cutler is like a hidden gem in AEW. If that's the case, I have no idea what mine they're digging in. That mine must have been dried up years ago.
This lovely picture he gave me with all these guys coming out, as we've stated
and he
before.
still has the face mask on, by the way.
Oh, jeez. This is like if you go on Wish and order the NWO.
You know what?
Or the Bullet Club. This is what you get.
You know what? It's funny you say that because
that's what it feels like.
Does this not feel? And Brian Lastis has brought it up, but like I thought this long before. This is late era NWO when Hall, Nash, and Hogan really weren't in it anymore. You had Jeff Jarrett. You had I think Buff Bagwell was in it.
He was in it, and he had a bigger, more prominent role later on than he was earlier.
Well, but this is what it is. It's late era NWO when it wasn't the Outsiders. It was just dudes. They decided that this is the Big Show era
NWO
of the NWO
2.0.
Oh,
kind
God.
of. And not the good part.
Well, no, because it's been awful.
Mm-hmm.
And their booking is just it's like late era NWO. They're like, I mean, it's just a jerk off session every night, and they think they're over, and they're really not. And what's really unique, before we get into the actual segment, the Bucks are really not getting booed like they're supposed to. And everyone's like, well, but they're the greatest tag team. You're supposed to be the heels.
Yeah.
Okay? Nobody really seems to care that they're not at levels of heat that's go home heat. I don't think the fans want them gone yet. But they really don't care that much anymore. Because I hate to say it, the Bucks are the old news right now. Because of everything that happened on that pay-per-view, boys, not only did you lose your titles, so there's a hopefully new renewed vigor in the tag team division, and you're not just going to hold those belts hostage for 6 months, but Kenny is, I guess, like I said, becoming more serious. Don is now dressing crazy, whereas Kenny is more conservatively dressed up. He seems to be more serious, where the Bucks are still doing their bad comedy sketches. And, Gallows and Anderson are kind of doing the same damn thing. I don't know what the hell those two are doing, because they're just there. But then you've got Brandon Cutler, who once again is cold spraying everyone. I don't know if you've ever used that cold spray stuff before. It's the stuff that you always see when like when soccer players get, cramped up.
Okay, yeah,
they'll kind of pull open the shorts and they'll shoot the. Now, yeah, it's a funny visual, but it's a legitimate medical thing that you can do.
Yeah.
But he's cold spraying everyone. That's all he's doing. And filming bad episodes of Being the Elite, which now Adam Cole is back on, and they've caught up, and Adam Cole's back from the dead, and it's the best part about Adam Cole's career is dead, gone, and is never coming back.
Unless he gets out of AEW, I guess.
Which, okay, this is what we tried to explain last week. Adam Cole. Oh, by the way, it's funny, but a report has come out that Adam Cole had no idea about the idea to make him Keith Lee's manager. Now, what I think is hilarious is, yes, while it was reported it was Bruce Pritchard's idea, Dave Meltzer freaking straight up confirmed, air quote,
Yes, he
that
did.
it was told to
He
Adam
likes to
Cole.
do that.
Oh, no, no. Dave's doing a great job of confirming things that are true. Something tells me nobody talks to Dave in WWE anymore, and I can see why. But anyway, so for those of you wondering, Adam Cole specifically said, and I quote, I had about a 30-minute conversation with Vince. Vince was very complimentary, and I never heard a damn thing about managing Keith Lee. Never heard a word of it. It was news to him. So here's the deal. Adam Cole walks away from the WWE and seems to be the only guy who's not pissed at anybody over there.
Yeah.
So what that tells me is two things. Number one, Dave Meltzer is not worth reading anymore because he just makes shit up on the fly to make the WWE look worse. And number two, Adam Cole was never going to re-sign with WWE.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
He was happy. He was complimentary of them. He's cool with it. He wanted to go because Adam Cole, as great as he can be, he liked doing the indie style stuff. He enjoyed it. It's what made him happy. And of course, his lovely girlfriend is over there as well. And so they recently put out on Up Up Down Down a goodbye thing for Adam Cole.
I thought they were going to do that and they pulled it.
No. Basically, what it said, Adam Cole was they were basically saying goodbye to Chugs.
Okay.
And Adam Cole is not going to be a part of the party anymore because he's not with WWE, and obviously Xavier Woods is contractually
Yes.
with WWE. But anyway, again, the hypocrisy of people. And even Jesse said it was reported by a bunch of people, so we kind of took it as fact that Adam Cole was told, you're going to manage Keith Lee, blah, blah, blah. And it was never true. And even if it is still true, Adam Cole, why would Adam Cole lie? He's got no reason to lie. He
doesn't
signed
at all.
with AEW. You've got him in the building. Tony Khan is treating this like he's one of the boys and letting them do whatever they want, even though he says he's head of creative and then all the creative goes through him. No, people tell you what they want to do and you just sign the dotted line, you stupid prick. But anyway, the fact is this. Adam Cole had nothing but flattering things to say about Vince. Vince was obviously not old man crotchety Vince in that meeting. And Adam Cole just wanted to go to AEW. That's all it was. It
was pretty basic.
I guarantee you WWE, whether they offered him a 7-figure deal or not, I don't know, but I guarantee he was offered 6 figures and was probably $750,000 to $800,000.
Yeah.
But the thing is that Adam Cole is now in AEW, and he had nothing mean to say about Vince, had nothing mean to say about Triple H. He's also come out and said that I am who I am today because of NXT, so he had nothing wrong with what they were doing with him in NXT. So the hypocrisy of the fans who and by the way, the internet has not seemed to blow up with the mention of Adam Cole not being angry with WWE.
No.
But you were there, I was there, the lounge was there, Jesse was there. The entire internet damn near exploded when it was reported that Keith Lee was going to get a manager, and it was Adam Cole. Which, by the way, Keith Lee apparently had no idea about.
Well, I saw that, and I was like, no, they wouldn't do something like that. That's dumb. It was a stupid idea and stuff like, I knew Adam Cole is professional.
Yes.
The way he left WWE is the way you should leave another company. Don't burn any bridges. He didn't. So I think in the back of his mind, he knows, there is a possibility that he could come back.
Well, it's not only that, but Adam Cole isn't angry about what happened in WWE.
Yeah.
Because, again, I've said it from the get-go. When his contract was up, I never really thought he was going to re-sign. If he had re-signed, that would have been the shocker to me. Even though we talked about numerous times on the show, based on our reports and what we were hearing, Adam Cole was probably going to re-sign. But in the back of my mind, I always thought to myself, there's a 75% chance that he's going to AEW. Because he wanted to go to AEW.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No,
now,
I don't think so at all.
We're going to circle back around to his first night on Dynamite. Leroy?
Yeah. That was his first match or just
No.
his first show?
No. So Adam Cole has, in the first 3 Dynamites, or the first 3 shows on television.
Yes.
He appears on this Elite segment, which we'll get to in a second. On the Friday Rampage following, he did a exclusive interview, which I don't know why they didn't just do it on Dynamite. They decided to wait for the 1-hour show of Rampage. See, what bothers me is that Rampage is just a freaking continuation of Dynamite. That's all it is.
Oh.
It's just we are, instead of Rampage being an hour-long show in which, even if it is in the same style of Dynamite, you could feature some of the lower stories that we're not getting on the 2-hour program.
And that's true, yeah.
It's literally, at this point, Dynamite's 3 hours. We just have to wait a day in between to see it. There's just 24 hours of no AEW in between the first 2 hours of Dynamite and the last hour of Dynamite.
So it's just like Raw for 3 hours, but we have
a 24-hour
couple days
break
to get ourselves back to be able to watch it again.
We have a full 24 hours, and then we have 2 hours of SmackDown before
we watch it.
Before the 3rd hour of Dynamite.
So we can maybe enjoy it and watch it.
So anyway, Adam Cole is introduced as the newest member of the Elite. And Adam Cole comes out and he cuts a great promo. Because it's Adam Cole, baby.
Well, yeah, baby, you can do it.
It was a little weird. He seemed nervous. I don't know why he'd be nervous, but he seemed off. He said baby twice in like 30 seconds. Which I know that's what he says. That's his, shtick.
That's just, yeah.
But I never saw him do that in NXT. Is all I'm saying. So Adam Cole's over.
Oh, yeah.
In this group of morons, he's over. They're not. And everyone's trying to be like, well, they were always together. Nobody in your audience, for the most part, knows that. Because for the last 5 years, he's been in NXT. The fact that what bothers me the most, and I've said this on the show 1,000 times, more back to the hypocrisy of their fan base. Well, you're just not paying attention. No, I paid attention 5 years ago. And then I watched what he was for 5 years, and I watched him evolve, and I watched him grow. And the hypocrisy of you saying, old man Vince isn't doing this, isn't doing that, they go back to the same shtick in AEW, and you all are cheering like he's God or something.
Yeah.
And you're all sitting there acting like he's over, he's this, he's that. Adam Cole's been gone for 5 years in a different promotion. He was the longest reigning NXT champion. He was serious the whole time. He was over like hell with the NXT audience.
Well, and he was NXT champion, North American, and tag.
He was everything.
So he had all of them. Yeah.
So, no, what bothers me is just this overwhelming annoyance of just everybody said, nobody looks at the hypocrisy that if WWE brings in a guy and they ignore the last 5 years he had on the indies, you'd be demifying him. We'll talk about WWE NXT 2.0 here in a second. They ignored that, Rick Steiner's brother, son was on there. But number one, why not try to let the kid, make a name for himself in the fact that he's highly athletic, number one. But we'll get to that in a little bit.
Yes,
but
definitely.
But it's just so you're mad that WWE doesn't acknowledge him as a Steiner, but you don't care that Adam Cole doesn't mention he was the guy for the last 5 years. He was better than Kenny for the last 5 years. He was in a much more serious group the last 5 years. Anyway, I digress on that. But anyway, Adam Cole comes out. He puts over everybody in the Elite. I don't know why. Adam Cole is so much better than this. And
yeah, he is.
Sadly, you've brought in Bryan Danielson. You've brought in CM Punk. They're not part of that locker room visually right now. They're not. They're over. They're huge with the fans. They're big, ratings pushers because they're outsiders. They're sort of a part of this little group of individual wrestlers, but they're so much bigger. And that's what Adam Cole should have been when he came in. But nope. Immediately just goes back to being with the Elite. And we're just all supposed to remember that 5 years ago they were doing stupid shit on the indies. That they were doing some of the most comical BS that Pro Wrestling Guerrilla ever produced. That they were on their little YouTube show that, by the way, featured Joey Ryan a few times, but we ain't going to talk about that.
Thank God it's not going to be on there. Oh.
But all I got to say is this. They've killed Adam Cole in less than 72 hours.
Mm-hmm.
And do you want to know why he's officially gone, Leroy? No. Quick question.
I have kind of a feeling why, but yeah.
Even though I already pointed this all out to you, what are your most recent memories of Adam Cole?
Being Adam Cole, his rivalry is just with Kyle O'Reilly.
Okay, so
I mean, and
serious,
putting on some
beating the living crap out of each other. The promos were excellent. He was in an NXT Championship match with some of the best performers in the business. He literally cut a promo that Karrion Kross couldn't lace up his boots.
Yeah.
All that stuff. Kenny Omega just grabs the microphone out of his hand and goes back to talking. And what bothered me even more was this whole wink, wink, nudge, nudge to the fucking TV audience where he goes, you know what I hate most? Interruptions. He didn't even get to the end of the word interruptions, and boom, Bryan Danielson's music hits. No, I'm not talking, Leroy. There was a pause. Instantly. It wasn't even out of his mouth before Bryan Danielson was already down to the ring, wearing the same basic white shirt that Kenny was. So I don't know what the hell that was about.
same tailors.
Must be.
Yeah.
The Khan family's paying for this. We all know that. But anyway.
Yeah.
Kenny Omega, I'm not shitting you, tells the Elite, I got this, boys. You can just get out of the ring right now. In layman's terms, without saying it, he said, the men are going to talk. The kids can leave the ring. Adam Cole was standing there.
Yeah.
Adam freaking Cole is in the ring, and Kenny Omega basically nudges to all of his little pals. You want to nudge to the Good Brothers. You want to nudge to the Bucks. You want to nudge to knock it the fuck off my television and Brandon White Meat Cutler.
Oh, yeah, I don't agree with that.
If you want to tell them to get out of the ring, fine. I don't care. They're stooges. That's all they are. Adam Cole leaves the ring like he's just some dude. Adam Cole, baby, was treated like he was some dude off the street. After 5 years of being one of the most talked about people in wrestling, they have gimmicked him out to just being a member of the Elite. That's all he is.
Maybe,
and that's
maybe
why
he's happy with that.
And that's
I don't
why
know.
this past Dynamite was not the 1.4 that was competing with Raw that they were talking about.
Hell no.
It was like a 1.1, which is still good, but
then
you lost 300,000.
Did they announce that match for next week? For their big whatever?
I'm not done. I'm not done with this segment. Forget the segment. Forget the future. We're still in this shithole.
Oh.
Bryan Danielson and Kenny Omega go back and forth. They talk some shit. Bryan makes some mention of Kenny doesn't have any balls anymore. I don't know. He never had to begin with, but we're gonna.
No,
bring
I
that
don't.
up.
Yeah. They were gone by his girlfriend. So.
And then,
oh yeah.
like I said, if this wasn't the most sports entertainment WWE segment that they've ever done, I don't know what was. Jesse's here. How are you?
Hey.
How are you, sir?
Hey, I have felt better.
Okay.
I'm happy to be on the show.
All right, fantastic.
I'm going through some ailments myself. I totally understand.
We were just discussing while you get your microphone
I
on
think you
here.
got to turn that on and be ready.
Hey, everybody.
We were just
All right.
discussing the opening Elite segment on Dynamite following the pay-per-view.
Oh, boy.
To recap,
Yeah.
to recap, so
Oh,
that I'm not just bullshitting, and Jesse will confirm because Jesse watched it. Leroy's
Yes,
seen the
I
highlights.
unfortunately did.
So Jesse, confirm to Leroy as I go through the bullet points.
Okay.
There are now like 8 members of the Elite.
Possibly 10.
Okay.
Possibly 10 at this point.
This is
I was
the bullet
thinking
points of-
NWO
Yeah.
2.0.5.
So this
Kinda
is like
sucks.
this actually, yeah, because I'm about to say they're so far gone from the way that New Japan actually does
Yes.
stables.
Yes.
That
Oh,
like
yeah.
at this
All right,
juncture, this
okay.
is very WCW.
Okay,
But continue.
So that was my first bullet point. The second bullet point, the Bucks are dressed in jewelry that we know is not real.
Oh, apparently Nick Jackson decided to wear a dress, which is fine.
People want to give Russell Westbrook, shit for that kilt he was wearing.
But
we don't want to talk about this.
But I'm just
He's wearing a real dress, not a kilt.
I'm just saying that
I don't know what it was.
Oh, it was definitely some sort of dress.
It was like a romper type
romper
thing.
summer dress.
But anyway, hold on, Jesse.
which is fine.
No, it's fine if he wants to do that.
But it goes back to
That
the whole
fits
they're
him.
clowns. But
Yep.
continue.
Okay, so now the next bullet point to Leroy is I think they're listening to Jim Cornette because Don Callis is finally dressing like a manager and Kenny is dressing serious.
By the way, did you guys hear what Tony Khan said about Jim Cornette?
Yes.
So
We'll get to that.
Okay.
That's on our list. Don't worry. That's here.
Okay.
That's on the list.
I did listen to
Yeah.
Jim
Yeah.
Cornette's reaction
We'll
and
talk
everything
to it.
about
We'll-
that.
Yeah, so did
we'll
I.
talk to it.
Oh,
We'll
my
talk
God,
to it.
that was- I
But
loved it, man.
So
Yeah.
Jesse, Don is finally dressing like a real manager should. Kenny's dressing a little serious.
Okay, yeah,
I
yep,
don't know
yep.
where Kenny decided the hair was a good idea. That's an eyesore.
To me, they all start to look like a certain someone from 2004, 2005, where he had a suit and a biker mustache and long hair.
But you
I believe-
digress.
I believe Cody destroyed his throne, but I digress.
We'll
Continue.
digress. Okay. Anyway, so then we just talked about right before you walked in.
Okay.
They introduced their newest member,
Yes.
Adam Cole, Bebe.
Bebe. Yes.
Now, is it me or did Adam Cole say Bebe twice in 30 seconds during his promo?
I did think it was odd. Like
He seemed nervous.
I think he seemed like, because he's definitely relieved to be there.
Yeah. By the way.
By the way, yeah, the reports came out that that was false.
By the way,
what he was
by the
offered.
way, Jesse, we forgot to
Okay.
tell you. Today's word of the day is hypocrisy.
Oh, we're gonna get to this idiot later on.
But
in the
hold
show.
on. But hold on. But Jesse, here's the deal. You brought in Adam Cole.
Yes,
you
you did.
brought in Bryan Danielson.
Yes, you
You've
did.
brought in CM Punk.
And we give you a ton of credit
You
for
brought
it.
in Ruby Soho.
Hey, ton of credit.
And you picked a song that is one of the greatest songs of the 90s.
And it works for her.
Yes.
And she's a punk head, so she
Yep.
loves it.
And by the way, Jesse, are Punk and Danielson not over like God?
Oh, of course they are.
Are they not the most over thing in AEW just by walking in the building?
By the way, it's not because of AEW, by the way.
No,
But yes,
that's fair. But anyway, so here's the deal. Arguably, the biggest acquisition they got when you look at the body of work over the last 5 years is Adam Cole.
Yeah.
But here's where the hypocrisy comes in. We'll talk about the 2.0 here in a second.
Okay.
Not the tag team, the new NXT show. We didn't call Mr. Steiner by his name. He has a
Okay.
completely different name in NXT.
Yeah.
He's not considered a Steiner.
And there were some reports that
Weird.
he actually chose to do that.
Okay, so here's the deal. We are not acknowledging something. We're letting him stand on his own 2 feet.
Yes.
So Vince is choosing, and Bruce, to not talk about his past.
I actually kind of want to clear this up. Like I said, this is rumored reports, but I'm guessing.
Before we get to that,
WWE.
yeah.
So, because people were like, well, they actually brought up because what's the name's son was also on the show.
Yes.
There was about 4 people
Who were sons of former.
There were sons of former
and only a
performers
couple
in
of them
it.
that they actually
Yeah.
brought that up
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
Yes.
Well, because apparently, I think it's Rex.
Yes.
He actually did not want people to know the heritage.
But my point is this. He asked for that. They didn't mention he's a former fullback for the Ravens. Because that's true.
No.
He was in the NFL.
Yes, they did.
Oh, did
Oh,
they?
they did bring that
Yes,
up.
they did.
Okay,
Okay.
Oh, yes.
Okay, missed
Yeah,
that part.
they-
But anyway,
they
but
talked
so
about
Jesse,
him being former
So Jesse,
NFL.
to the
Okay.
hypocrisy of the fan base, reports are that he wanted to do it.
Yeah.
They listened to him. But, oh my God, how could you not say he was a Steiner? Hold on. But we're going to bring in Adam Cole, completely ignore the fact that for the last 5 years he hasn't been in the Elite or dead like on BTE.
They
He's
killed him.
actually been
Yeah, that's-
been one of the hottest people in wrestling for the
Correct.
last 5 years.
Correct.
But we're going to completely ignore that, and now he's a stooge.
Yeah.
He is. He is now part of this group from day one. Not even day one, from the moment he debuted, he's part of this group. So anyway, correct, right?
Yes,
Moving
correct.
on in the segment. Then Kenny, oh, by the way, Leroy, I didn't even mention this. Jesse will confirm. When Adam Cole's music hit and we were following that, I don't think I've ever seen Kenny have happier feet. Kenny, for some reason, decided to act like your small children when they want attention while Adam Cole was walking. He wants the attention on him so bad, right? I'm just going to come out and say it. He wants the attention on him so bad. He gets extra gimmicky and stupid when the real stars are in the ring. That's just fact. I'm not even going to deny this anymore. But
Oh my
anyway,
God.
so Adam Cole comes in. He cuts a promo. He puts these guys over. Don't know why. Adam, you didn't have to do that. You shouldn't have done that. But anyway.
They are beneath you.
Yes. But anyway, then, and Jesse, I described it to Leroy, but now I need somebody who saw it to confirm that I said what I said.
Yeah.
I hate interruptions. Boom, Bryan Danielson's music. You're in the music business. It's like somebody was waiting for the soundbite.
It was damn near perfectly timed.
Like a WWE sketch.
Yeah.
So anyway, Leroy, back to what I was saying. Then, and Jesse, correct me if I'm wrong, Kenny Omega decides to tell the rest of the elite, the big boys are talking. Y'all can just step out of the ring here. Not in those words. But that was essentially what happened. So you just told Adam Cole, who was the leader of the most successful group of the last 5 years, the hottest thing going in that company, to just get out of the ring because the big boys are talking.
In a way, he basically kind of down-talked the Young Bucks and Adam Cole and all of them so he could talk to Kenny one-on-one.
Well,
so he could talk to Bryan one-on-one.
So anyway.
Done a different way, that would have been fine.
Like, if he would have been like, you know what?
If Bryan had used the balls line before before it was just Kenny and Callis in the ring, then Kenny could have somehow, but Kenny can't get bass in his voice to save his life, somehow could have been like, everybody out of the ring, and been serious about it. No, he has to, Steve Urkel the crap out of this.
Well, it was weird, because I actually gave him half credit for the promo.
Okay.
For once, it wasn't super breathy.
Yeah.
He actually did get semi-serious because this is someone who will whip your ass, which, by the way, it will be a great match, but this is why I don't like to hear about their fans talk about how, like, why is WWE all of a sudden just giving away these great matches?
You've been doing it since you got on the show.
I was about to say, they've been doing it for 2.5 years.
You've been doing it for 2.5 years,
right.
assholes.
And you're about to do it again next week.
Yeah, but anyway, so Leroy.
Why?
Leroy, hold on.
This is a pay-per-view caliber match.
I have issue with that.
Yeah.
Yes. But
most people should.
But Jesse,
yes.
Back to Wednesday Night Raw. I'm sorry that you were drinking when I said that.
Thank God, I almost spit that up.
Yeah. back to Wednesday Night Raw.
You got paper towels there. I got them.
Thank you.
That wasn't on purpose either. That was just my accident.
Back to Wednesday Night Raw and the Wish dollar store version of the Authority. But anyway,
really.
Anyway, so we're not even done with this segment, Leroy. We're not.
It was a talkish Wednesday.
Hold on. So then Bryan and Kenny exchange blows. The Elite's back in the ring. Brandon Cutler is cold spraying Bryan Danielson like that means anything. By the way, Jesse, I don't know if you saw this, but the Sportster, as of this morning, put out an article saying the biggest hidden gem in AEW is Brandon Cutler. We'll get to that in a little bit.
I just rolled my eyes twice so loud that I think the mic might have actually caught it.
I think it did.
Yeah, they might have. But anyway, so Leroy, then there's chaos. Christian hits the ring. Jurassic Express hits the ring. The heels run away, even though they outnumber them 2-1.
Yeah.
And then, in typical WWE fashion, Bryan Danielson gets the last move in with the knee on Cutler, WWE Vince version of this. And then, what happens? Oh, it's almost like Vince was running the show. His music immediately hits.
Yeah.
So that he can bask in the sports entertainment of what he just did.
All I'm saying is
Wasn't this the exact segment that AEW was created to ignore?
All I'm saying is that I still have so people don't know I joke with Gene in our PWL very privately.
Yes.
I'm like, I actually saved that press conference from 2018 and I still have it. So that way, and by the way, through my own page, I got to get on ours. I'm going to invite them on. I would like for them to come and speak for themselves.
Yes.
Defend themselves. I have no problem with it.
You got to call George Kittle while we're at it.
That I'm definitely working on. But
okay,
that would be kind of
We're not even kidding, folks.
Like, we're definitely going to work on that.
We're working on that.
But as far as, because they said we are going to be the alternative to WWE. They clearly said that. They said we're going to be a sports-based product. Wins and losses will matter, which, by the way, we haven't even gotten to the ranking shit yet. The tag team stuff is a mess because it just blows up the whole rankings thing.
Yes, it totally does.
And here we are on this Wednesday for this Dynamite, and they have about, and by the way, they're good segments, but they're very WWE light. And I'm just, and it just, it precludes my mind because I went, wait a minute. You guys said you weren't going to do this. Where most of your show was talking. That's what this was.
Yeah, I say we could bring your computer. We could plug it into the board, and we could watch that.
Luckily, I have it. So cause
we could watch it and critique it over the show, which is kind of fun to do.
Here's my biggest problem with AEW, and will always be my biggest problem. And like I said, I want them to succeed. And like I said, and we'll get to the Jim Cornette thing. You know what? Because funny enough, I thought he was insanely light on them for who he is. I thought he almost showed like some mentorship. I almost think Tony Khan.
Well, but we already talked about the fact that, let's be honest, Kenny looked like a bum. Callis looked professional. That has flip-flopped after Jim and Brian talked about how Cornette used to look like an idiot.
Here's my
and
thing.
the Midnight Express looked like $1 million.
Tony Khan's clearly
Tony
Khan clearly cares about what Jim Cornette has to say.
Oh, of course.
Hire him. Seriously, you're the big boss, right? Bring him in and be like, well, listen, you're going to work with me. You want to know why? Because he's now recently said the door would be open for Jim Cornette after discussion with Jim Cornette. So if that's what you're going to do, have the balls and do it.
Yeah.
Because I actually think he would actually help to make the show better.
Oh, yeah.
Jim Cornette had a lot of success with TNA/NWA back in the day when they actually started to compete with WWE.
We said it. When he was in charge of OVW, that might have been the most consistent wrestling program.
It was excellent.
In the last 30
years.
And
I don't think...
And Vince got 7 Hall of Famers out of that.
Yeah.
Cornette wouldn't do it.
So...
I don't think he.
I think before we kind of get off of it, Brian made an interesting comment though.
Yeah.
Because it was asked. I think Brian Last is his name.
Last. Yep. Yes. The great Brian Last.
Which he used to be a wrestler too, wasn't he?
I don't remember that, but he's on the 605 podcast.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So Brian said, you know, our viewers always say, "Hey Jim, I mean, if they call, why not take the call?" And it seems like Jim kind of turned the corner a little bit, especially after these comments recently.
Yeah.
You know what, Jim? Which, by the way, I told him to listen to our show. Hopefully he does.
Yep.
You know what, Jim? If you listen to this, take the damn call. You could really be their saving grace. Because if he steps in...
And by the way, for those of you wondering, do they need a saving grace? This past Dynamite was only 1.1, so you lost 300,000
And by the
people.
way, their own fans kind of hated it. Because it was insanely talkative, like me and him were just talking about. Like it was very which I don't mind.
No,
I don't mind. Raw's a 3-hour show, so fill it, please.
Oh yeah.
Well, okay, but to be fair, since we're on Wednesday Night Raw, Dynamite's now technically 3 hours with a 72-hour. With a 24-hour and a 2-hour SmackDown in between. Because Rampage is basically just a continuation. It's the same shit.
You know what's funny though? Rampage actually is better. So if you watched Rampage, it's so funny.
Before we get to Rampage, so Leroy,
yeah.
Back to finishing this segment up. This happened. Bryan Danielson is back.
By the way, this
Kenny
match is not a title match on Wednesday.
No. Kenny and Bryan are now going to work together. They've worked together in Guerrilla.
Ring of Honor, PWG, and MLW.
Right.
Once, yeah.
Okay, so anyway, that's happening.
And New Japan on a junior show.
Okay, yeah. So that's happening. But this is
will be a great match.
Yes.
If they give it time.
But this is the hypocrisy.
Like not putting it on next
Wednesday? This is the hypocrisy of these fans, though. And here's the deal. I am very happy that...
I should state again to everybody.
Yeah.
This is 13 cards. Word of the day.
But here's the deal. I love that Ruby is finally getting a chance to be seen.
Absolutely.
But I'm sorry. That promo, Jesse, on this past Dynamite, because we're now 2 Dynamites removed from what we're talking about, that was beneath Ruby.
Yeah, and I mean,
that was talking about
that was
banging
such a
the guy
cheap,
in the back,
written for her type thing.
But you know what? I gotta admit, I didn't mind because by the way, but this is my criticism towards them. Just say you're gonna end up being sports entertainment. Don't they started off so anti WWE. And the things that have worked are very WWE.
It's not just very; it is WWE.
Well, it's just you guys are booking guys that Vince maybe
works.
wouldn't.
As they realize WWE has been here.
But
For
they
how
think they can
long?
do better, but all their biggest ratings come from what Vince has been doing for the last 10 years.
Right.
10 years.
They did 1.4, I believe, on the show where all they did was talk.
Correct.
And then this past Dynamite was only 1.1 because you went back to the indie bullshit.
So, by the way,
By
I
the
do have
way-
it saved if we want to listen to that press conference,
Yes.
which once again proves
We
that
will
they
have
say
to,
that.
We'll
Once
have to set that one
And
time
like I
and
said,
do.
I'll have to find the exact
Once
quote.
we start,
but yeah,
once we start our and this is going to start coming here. Once we start our watch along series
Yeah.
on our YouTube channel,
Yeah.
that'll
Yeah.
be
we
a
definitely
watch-along
can
thing.
do that
Yeah.
because we
But-
can
but-
plug it in here.
but
and
Jesse-
do
like I
everything
said, I
with so,
saved
yeah.
it because I've been watching the last 2 years.
Yep.
Because remember, like I said, I was the one between me and you.
Yep.
I was the first one. The press conference came out. I'm like, this is a fucking joke. Like I was actually on Jim Cornette's side.
I was into it.
yeah.
I was into it, folks.
I saw the press
And-
conference and I was automatically on Jim Cornette's side, which I found weird. That was the first time I found it weird because I'm like, yeah, this is a joke. This is not going to work.
Yeah.
And then I've been the one to give it the most chances because I'm like, you know what? I want them to succeed.
Yeah.
Because I when people say they love pro wrestling, to me, if you love pro wrestling, you just want it to succeed.
Exactly. No, exactly.
You just want them to do better. That's all.
But no, Jesse, I was actually listening to one of our shows that Leroy has now thrown on our YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it was around July 4th. I think it was our July 4th show.
Okay.
Jesse, we are now halfway through September.
Correct.
And
Almost on the 3-year mark.
Yep, and Cody
Yeah.
and Tony have not cut the roster by 40%. They've added to it by 40%.
So, I was wrong.
Yeah.
Well, did I say December?
You said mid-September
Okay.
it was going to start.
Yeah. You know what? And by the way, I was wrong. Did I make it? If I made a bet on that, we'll have to figure out how
You
to make
didn't.
it the correct. Okay, good. Woo!
You didn't.
No, I think we do have to make a bet box or some stuff. we
gonna
do
have to
because
start
it'll
here.
be
It's gonna have
very
to start
entertaining.
here.
But I will say,
Yeah.
I can't believe. Yeah, so someone said it's 172 wrestlers now.
Yep.
172
But people
they're
gave
paying.
Vince crap for the 200 people he had, and half of them were in developmental.
By the way, those guys and gals, much love and respect to them. He's really only paying them $30,000 a year, so they're basically maybe making $14 an hour.
Yeah.
Just to kind of go
They're-
train, which is okay.
Yeah.
It's a livable wage.
Yes.
For the most part, but
Yeah.
especially in Florida.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, no
But
taxes.
really 172, and that's counting. That's not counting everyone from the other 3 academies they're associated with.
Yes.
So who they're helping to pay for.
Yeah.
So
Which one they got? Nightmare and
so
who
they got
else?
Nightmare. QT actually has his own.
Yep.
And
Okay.
then Dustin's. So they're
Well,
paying.
well,
They're
but-
technically paying for 3.
Well, it's almost 4 because think about how many people from the Academy School of Professional Wrestling with
with
Ken and
Ken
Davari.
Anderson.
but you know what? I can't. Only reason I don't is because
They're not
Ken
actually associated
and
with you.
MAW and a lot of promotions here where
Yeah.
they're getting that talent.
Yeah.
It's Minnesota has a really, really good local scene. So
Yes.
Well,
they're,
yeah.
they're just being able to see them and then pick them out. So
Yeah, Ken and then
Please,
Ken and
Tony,
then Dishmore.
Tony.
Yeah.
North
Tony.
Dakota.
2 words. The problem needs to come to dark. That's all I'm saying.
if you guys do not get to him before WWE does,
Oh god,
You're in trouble.
He's only 25. That's what people have to
Really?
understand.
because all they need to do.
Paul Verk's only
Hawk's only
25 years old.
He, honest to God, when I see him, he looks. I thought he was older.
He's 6'4". All they would ask him to do is bulk up a little bit. The
Yep.
guy can talk his ass off.
Oh yeah.
Oh my gosh.
The guy's a hell of a heel.
Yep.
And they love heels in WWE.
They do. They
Guys who
do.
can get people who can get naturally booed, they love that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. If y'all don't give him even a little bit of a shot, you've missed out.
Yep.
By the way, Paul Verk you can find on Instagram, on YouTube, and on Facebook.
Yes.
And I am wearing his shirt right now.
Yes, you are.
He is the damn problem.
Yes.
Are you
But anyway-
getting closer to him? Maybe.
I'm hoping.
Yeah,
Yeah,
on the show?
we're hoping in the next couple of weeks 'cause he's booked the hell up.
He is.
All right.
He's a very booked man right
He's
now.
very busy.
But Jesse,
champ, as I like to call him.
but Jesse,
All right.
is this not the era of hypocrisy
I
on
know,
the
it
indies?
is, yeah.
Because Jesse, PWG, you guys hated WWE to a point,
Yeah.
but you hated them for reasons you could explain.
Yeah, and I always say, it was basically we felt like Vince in those times of bookings, because the booking was that's when it really started to get bad.
Yeah,
2010, 2011.
Yeah.
We were just like, dude, he doesn't care. Like, we'll cheer who he wants us to, boo who, and still no one's getting over. Like, what? Then what are we doing coming to these shows? Like,
yeah.
Because we were the same kids who loved going to WWF,
Yes.
WWE shows back in the day.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so it felt like a betrayal of the man that we've supported for so long.
Right.
Now, a lot of us have grown up and gone,
But
okay,
you could point to
okay.
it, and there was a lot of proof to it.
Yeah.
Because, like you said, nobody's really getting over
No.
for a 5-year period in
No.
WWE.
No.
But
No,
now, going
where
back
that in that John Cena hatred
Yeah.
originally started, which and now we all see now. So it's funny, like somebody.
well, even
once
John
said,
admitted I should not have gone over Nexus.
Well, and he's also said like we made a lot of mistakes with the fans. So he's like, the fact that now anytime I come back or people see me in the streets,
I wanna do
and
right
wrestling
by it.
fans like give me that much love.
Yeah.
Like I always tell them, no, thank you, because you could have gave up on me.
Yeah.
And that could have been.
But
really
my point
bad.
is this: is that it's almost the era of hypocrisy, because Jesse, we were talking earlier in the show.
Mm-hmm.
Adam Cole had no idea about it. Keith Lee had no idea about it. Backstage WWE had no idea about it. And yes, it was reported it was a Bruce Pritchard idea.
Mm-hmm.
But don't you think, I don't know, maybe it would have gotten back to Adam Cole or gotten back to Vince, that maybe... No. Adam Cole said it, and I quote, we talked for 30 minutes. Vince was very complimentary, highly complimentary. And then that was the end, which proves, like I told Leroy, he was going to AEW no matter what. You weren't going to keep him because he wanted to go home.
And I mean, by the way, he probably got a bag though, because apparently there was a 7-figure offer to him to come to the main roster.
Oh yeah.
So he got a bag, and good for him. By the way, he's still doing.
I was in support of Adam Cole getting as much money as possible. I want to make that very
And
clear.
how I know Adam Cole isn't banned is they allowed them, because
They said goodbye.
They actually got the chance to let them all say goodbye on Up, Up, Down, Down, and they let Adam actually fully speak on the presentation.
Yes. That
lets you know Vince does not hate the young man.
No. But you also have to remember, the problem is that Jericho told him I wasn't going to do anything.
See, like I told people, Jericho he's an asshole.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, his head is too big for his britches.
Yeah.
He is going into the Hall of Fame.
Oh, no.
Eventually.
100%.
There's no arguing
If
that.
Warrior's in there, Jericho's going to be
He's
in
gonna have to kiss some ass a little bit, probably.
You know what?
We'll see.
He'll say sorry. Vince will probably forget. Vince
Yeah.
is getting older. He ain't gonna hold no grudges.
Yeah.
But that's when you can tell. Adam Cole goes with his friends and is still featured on a 30-minute WWE video.
Yes. But
Like-
the other problem that I have, Jesse, is he is already a gimmicked out version of what he's been for the last 5 years. You say Vince doesn't acknowledge what guys did on the Indies or in Japan until AJ got there, but you won't even acknowledge that he was in NXT
Yeah.
being the hottest goddamn thing in the business for 5 years.
Now, like it feels like there's a splinter in AEW.
There is.
In creative, because Tony and Cody segments will actually talk about, even though now just recently this week with Malachi Black, they did not mention that he was a champion in NXT. Last time they did, that was weird.
Yeah.
I'm like, really? Now you don't want to mention it?
By the way, Malachi Black's getting over doing the same sports entertainment stuff he was doing in WWE. So, by the way, AEW fan base, you like what Vince wanted to do with him. It was just a situation where things happen. And by the way, I hate to say it, this past Friday, as great as SmackDown was, if that was the segment that got cut from the September 10th edition of SmackDown, Selena, you ain't got much of a leg to stand on, because that was not a segment that should have just been on there.
And then I see that, AEW they're involving.
I know we're jumping around, but again, so does Dynamite.
They're involving
That's true.
For 3 hours a week.
They're involving Hollywood stars. Huh. Isn't that something that Vince did?
Who originally thought it was a good idea to bring in the Hollywood people to the wrestling world? Oh wait, that was Vincent Kennedy
In
McMahon Jr.
WrestleMania
4, I believe.
One.
Yeah.
WrestleMania
Liberace.
One.
Liberace.
All those people.
Cindy
Muhammad Ali,
Lauper.
Cyndi Lauper.
Yep. We
Mr.
talked about
T.
this. Yeah, we talked about this in a past episode. Actually, it was the same episode where, again, Jesse was sort of... Again, when Jesse and I are proven right about AEW, his shit gets moved back 3 months, my shit gets moved up 3 months. But it's like, guys, 172 people. You don't even have enough YouTube time for this.
By the way,
No,
that's not all talent you've forced. Wait a minute, this sounds familiar. undercard talent that you're developing all moved to Florida so you can use a Florida studio to develop them.
Yep.
That sounds so familiar.
The fact is, if the state of Florida didn't have a Trumpin' an anti-mask idiot running it for a governor, he might take advantage of the fact that wrestling's the hottest thing going in his state.
Oh, yeah, well,
outside of Disney.
But Ron DeSantis is an idiot.
Yes, exactly.
I'd say they're dumb. Yeah.
But
you support Trump.
It's
sorry.
just like you keep telling. You told us in the beginning you were anti WWE, but now you realize, oh shit, everything that Vince and those guys have been doing for over 50 years actually works.
Yep.
And the things that don't work, you don't do.
But anyway,
which is smart.
But anyway, so Punk has been less and less on the show, which is good because it's keeping CM Punk fresh.
Yes.
But his stuff is simple. His stuff is
I gotta admit, I do now like where this is going
with Darby?
with Will Hobbs.
Well, yeah, okay.
Because now you're getting to push a guy who probably should be a young main event guy.
Yes.
Even
agreed.
though it's weird because now Team Taz has this weird split where like the Son, Taz, and
Hook.
Will Hobbs are doing with Punk.
Yeah, Hook.
And Hook. And then
Brian
Ricky
Cage.
Starks and Brian Cage are doing their own thing.
Yeah, I don't know where. I don't know where that's going. But by the way, also quick note: who said that Punk should work with a slightly more established team other than Daniel Garcia and 2.0? Oh, right. Jim Cornette and Brian Last said Team Taz should have been the team. Where is Punk currently working
Team
with?
Taz.
Team Taz.
Which makes sense.
Yes.
Him and Taz have loved working together in the past.
But here's the deal. Punk is simplicity.
Yeah.
There's not a lot to it,
No.
and it's great.
Yeah.
Adam Cole is so overdone, and now Bryan Danielson's involved in this crap. Like, they just took all the shit and threw it together. And like I said, I get it. It worked, and it was a spot-on promo for her.
Yeah.
But that was a promo that, in my opinion, is beneath what Ruby Riott, Soho, whatever you want. That she's bigger than that promo.
She's just capable of more. But here's the problem. When she doesn't win the title, you've booked yourself into the same corner that WWE did.
Yep.
Because remember, she actually got the chance to face Charlotte very early.
Yes.
But then she lost.
Yes.
The problem with that was she was hot then, too.
Yes.
So now, if she loses, which I'm guessing she will, to Britt Baker.
Britt Baker's way too white hot right now. Oh, by the way, what the hell was Cole doing getting on Shivani about the whole Britt Baker stuff? That made no goddamn sense.
What happened? Oh, when he was like, I know you're talking to Britt.
I heard about that.
Yeah, no, you heard about that, but here's the thing. Adam Cole then calls a 60-year-old Shivani a nerd. What was that?
That was weird.
It's time for a match. A match for Britt Baker.
Britt Baker on the pole match. Actually, that sounds really good.
God.
You can call me a nerd, Adam. I'm okay with it.
He just
but
on the pole, and we didn't have to have a match.
Just a spin on the pole.
But Jesse,
yeah.
the quote-unquote prophecy, not of the Undisputed Era, but of Jim Cornette's words, is coming true. The best Adam Cole will ever have been
was in NXT.
Has passed him by.
Yeah.
Because I don't think Cole's going to go back to WWE unless something goes drastically wrong with AEW. But the thing about it is this.
Or drastically right in WWE.
Yes. But the thing about it is this.
Which it looks like unless you're on SmackDown, that might be an issue in the future.
Well, we'll get to that in a
second.
We'll
get to that.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a second. But anyway.
The draft is coming up eventually, so it'll be interesting.
But here's the deal. I don't understand why you get an Adam Cole, who arguably was the most over of all three signings. No offense to Ruby, she's doing her own thing.
Well, and that fan base loves Adam Cole.
Yes, but Adam Cole, they're all sitting there like, he used to be the elite. Here's the deal. Only you, the 800,000 that are already watching this crap, know that. The extra...
Let's call it 750.
That's fair. The rest of the people you're trying to get, they have no idea that Adam Cole used to be on BTE because they don't watch your stupid conservative bullshit.
Actually, only half of their fans watch that.
Exactly.
And they all know he was on NXT.
And only 2% watch the other YouTube shows.
I'm not trying
Just saying.
Yeah, I'm not trying to grasp at straws to stay on an AEW beatdown, but Jesse, they're becoming the very thing they said they didn't want to be. The highest rated... By the way, the second ever highest rated Dynamite was 1.3. That was the episode where all they did was talk and then have matches no one cared about. And then they went down 200,000 the very next week because they went back to their own bullshit. Which, by the way, Jesse, Why is the Dark Order having a 6-man tag with the Pinnacle, and no one cares about Shawn Spears anymore, and FTR finally gets back on television, and they do all the work, and Shawn Spears gets the pin.
Dude, it's so weird. By the way,
FTR
gives a shit
would at
about
least
Shawn
be
Spears.
FTR might be challenging the Usos for 9-time tag team titles right now if they'd stayed in WWE. But right now, what are they doing in AEW? They are posting more pictures of them on their ranches in North Carolina.
Right. The Young Bucks got their win back, and now they're doing exactly what I figured
They're
they'd be
paying
doing
these
out
guys to not even show up.
I know.
They wrestle once every 6 months.
So when they're on TBS in like a little over 3 months, we're going to see them again.
We're going to see FTR on the first TBS show, and then we won't see them again for 6 more months. But Jesse, help me out
Well, and
here.
then they wasted the whole feud with the
Formerly
known
LAX.
LAX.
But Jesse, please help me since you're the indie guy here. You're PWG. Help me. Where
if we can.
Where is FTR better right now?
I mean, here's the truth. They would have been better in WWE. You want to know why? Here's a big reason. When you think of WWE right now in its tag team division,
it's hot right
and
now.
there's some rumors that it might actually just go down to one shared belt again, and then they'll still have the 2 divisions.
It's working for the women's tag title.
The women's tag title, exactly, and they're realizing, like, you know what? Why not just have the tag champs on both shows? It just makes more sense.
Yeah,
because then you can do more stories where it doesn't involve the titles.
Yeah,
which WWE struggled with their stories.
I agree.
But you would be right at the top of being tag team champions constantly because there's the New Day, there's the Usos. I mean, at this point, you can go ahead and take out the Mysterios because that's going somewhere else.
Yes.
Street Profits.
The Dirty Dogs are basically gatekeepers.
Yep.
The Street Profits are contenders.
Are up there, yes.
And then the Viking Raiders are contenders.
Yes.
And
AJ and Omos at some point will be splintered, probably within the next couple of months.
And by the
Same
way,
with RK Bro.
I think Omos will flourish. I actually think he'll be fine.
Well, he's a like, I know people are like, man, he can't wrestle. I'm like, yeah, Big Show couldn't either his first 7 years. Paul got better because he was athletic.
Yes.
But it was very weird seeing him on WCW television back then hitting drop kicks for a 7'2", 500-pound kid. You're like, dude, what the hell is he doing hitting drop kicks?
But anyway,
do.
Jesse, do you think...
By the way, credit to Jim Cornette and Eric Bischoff for saying, wrestle like a big guy.
Yes. But Jesse, do you think FTR... And they've got, for guys who just wanted to wrestle, they've got to have buyer's remorse at this point.
Oh, there's no doubt.
There's no doubt they've got to have there is no way.
LAX has got to be starting to get really pissed off. Like, how often do you even see them if you don't watch Dark Elevation?
No.
Never.
You don't.
Never. And by the way, you barely see anyone else on the Inner Circle anymore. And yet, every time Sammy comes out, he still gets the biggest pop.
And now Sammy's working with his buddy, the fake luchador from Alabama, and Miro, who, once again, as long as he just...
Fake luchador from Alabama.
You know what? Let's make a bet right now.
Fiego del Sol.
Somebody will have to suffer the hot sauce punishment between me and you. But I'm making a bet right now that when Sammy's contract starts to come up, he will not re-sign with this company. He will go to WWE. Because I think he's starting to see the bullshit.
As much as bets are fun in this show, I can't disagree with you because once he's gotten away from Jericho, once he's getting into the mid card now, Sammy's not an idiot. He can't not see this.
Like, there's no way he can't see where his career is going.
So no fun bet? God dang it.
But the problem is
it's hard to disagree with me on that.
Well, yes.
I'm not taking a bet that sadly it's a 50-50 chance that
it's going to happen.
If Sammy wants to take his own career seriously.
By the way, he's only 26.
Exactly.
He needs to.
And by the way, I think that Mick Foley was a prisoner of the moment when he posted that video.
I will say this. The basis of what he was saying was right.
Yes.
Because the basis of what he was saying is, listen, this company every now and then does something really hot, and you guys aren't doing anything to,
But the idea that
and on the let me finish. And then on the other end, your creative is so even struggling so bad that even the hometown fans that I love myself, our WWE fans, a lot of them don't even. Dude, Raw does almost triple or SmackDown does almost triple the numbers of Raw sometimes.
Yes.
Because it's just a better show.
Yes.
Period.
Yeah.
But the idea, and I want to take a specific line out from Mick's video.
Okay.
The idea that nobody wants to sign with WWE anymore is completely untrue.
People will still go there because it's the dream.
Yes.
When you talk about, man, I love Jericho, I love this wrestler, I love CM Punk. Well, where did you see them? WWE. So it makes sense that's where you want to give it a shot. Because not everyone's experience is going to be the same. Yeah, Kevin Owens may be going to AEW in January.
Yeah.
But he's a 2-time former champ. He's a Grand Slam champ.
It's not like
not
like Kevin Owens, even with all the injuries.
Yeah.
It's not like he was just put off to the side.
No.
And by the way, this idea that they've buried Balor.
Stupid.
In what world is Finn Balor buried?
Now, the only thing I
No.
don't like is that maybe they've given away that the team is going to lose at Extreme Rules, which I don't like because Vince has protected him. But otherwise, buried a guy who's now consistently in the title picture again. Now after
I had this argument with somebody. It might have been in the lounge where literally people
don't know what the word buried is.
they were grasping
Yes.
at straws. I looked at them and said, "Here's the deal. You think, and this is something that officially I don't think has been said by anyone in the wrestling media. You have officially decided that the word buried means that because your favorite guy didn't immediately win the WWE or Universal Championship night one,
Yeah.
that Vince doesn't like them. If that belt got tossed around 16 times a year, nobody would give a
I'm
shit.
about to say no one would fucking watch it.
Yeah.
Nobody
cares
people,
about it.
Okay, let's
They say that
let's
about
put it
the
this way.
24/7
let's
championship
when they
right
all
now.
got called up.
Exactly. Remember, people were like, man, they buried Jeff Hardy. Dude, he was in the segment for 1 fucking week, so they can just get him on TV.
And he even said it was because hey, I decided to do it. Jeff decided. Why is it hold on. Why is it in AEW that when guys say we get the chance to do what we want, even though Tony says he's head of creative, he's just saying yes to all this shit. He's not actually doing anything. But why is it when people do what they want in WWE the last couple of weeks, it's always Vince is the old man. Prime example, Becky. She asked to be the heel.
She wants to be a heel.
She wants to do this.
She saw how it's
Steiner's
worked for Roman.
Yeah, Steiner's son. He doesn't want to live
He
off the
didn't-
name.
He didn't want to be
Jeff Hardy.
Yeah.
Jeff Hardy said, "I decided to do it."
They were like, "Hey, man, we might do this segment with a 24/7 thing. Would you maybe be
And
interested in
Jeff
running
was
out?"
down for
And it was
it.
like, dude, you know what? I would love to. I would love to go
But
out.
because it's WWE, those are the 3 letters. Vince and Bruce have nothing for Jeff Hardy. Who reports this shit?
Oh, God, it's
What are we doing?
It's astounding, dude. Every single week with WWE,
I can't.
and
I can't with the hypocrisy. Just because Tony Khan doesn't say no to goddamn anything.
which he should. I swear to God, if I have to see Penelope Ford, and you can punch me in the face the next time you see me at a DPW show, but if I see Penelope Ford in a meaningful storyline screw it up in a match again, I'm gonna lose it.
Can I just point something out?
I agree.
I told
with
this
you.
to Lyra earlier, Jesse. I need you to confirm.
I
this.
like her, and she has improved.
Yes.
But you cannot continue to go on TV and screw up.
Yeah.
There's a reason they sit Mandy's ass back.
Yeah. We'll talk about her in a little bit.
Yeah.
But anyway, Jesse.
Sexy ass, by the way.
Jesse.
Oh my
Jesse.
God.
In Japan,
Yeah.
everyone who is in the Bullet Club
Mm-hmm.
has a little soundbite that plays before their entrance music.
Oh, yeah.
Apparently now so does the Elite. And I tried to explain it to Leroy. I want to confirm. But hold on. Does the Elite have a theme song, or is it literally just on repeat? Be Elite. B-E Elite. Is that just on repeat the entire walk?
that is the song.
That's the whole thing.
Yeah, be elite, because that was the chant
We were literally
that was started in PWG.
we were literally just talking about all we're missing now is the Spirit Squad, Kenny Dykstra, and they've completed the cheerleading section.
So the
of their
story
walk
behind that is when they originally created the group.
Please explain.
There was a group of fans at the PWG shows
Yeah.
that started the chant, the elite, the elite, the. So
why did it take them 3 years of AEW to bring that back? They didn't start that day one?
So it's been on the whole YouTube show for the longest time.
No one watches BTE, all right? Not even
I
you
used to,
anymore.
but now I'm
not
done
even
with
you
it.
anymore. We're not even going to go there.
I'm done with it. When AEW first started, it was actually really interesting to actually get some extra storyline in a YouTube show. I actually thought, interesting.
Yeah, but they even stopped doing that.
But they stopped doing that.
Yeah, now it's just jokes.
It's just fucking jokes
Adam
the whole
Cole,
time.
Hold on a second. Adam Cole's return to the Indies is him just appearing in a dark office going, Super Dragon. I'm like, what? Why?
Don't get me started.
Oh my.
Why?
Don't even get me started.
Nobody's talked about Super Dragon
In 7 years.
in 7 years. Nothing against Super Dragon.
Hey, Super Dragon is a legend on the scene.
Yes,
Would whoop my ass if I talked bad about him.
but no one's talked.
But no one's talked about him in like 7 years. So you're hoping guys like me mark out for it. But I was like, dude, no one cares about Super Dragon.
No, they don't. I'm sorry, they don't.
I love Super Dragon.
Yes.
Hell, Super Dragon showed up to an AEW show. I'm like, man, that's awesome to see Super Dragon on national television. The guy should have got this shine 10 years ago. He didn't. It is what it is.
Yes.
But that's about it.
So now we're moving on to another thing on AEW. Jesse, I'm sorry, we have to go into this again, and we
Okay.
have to do this a little more in depth.
Okay.
Minoru Suzuki's American television debut.
Let me get into this.
Oh, Jesse said he wasn't going to talk too much today.
So,
but-
I know I'm not even supposed to be talking because I got this damn bad tooth I hope they pull out tomorrow. I
We get a hammer in the other room.
Maybe.
I'll hammer Tony Khan's face in.
Oh.
So,
All right, we
The
don't
2 weeks
condone
ago-
violence like that.
First of all, before we get anywhere, Leroy, I want to point something out. They
heard about
started
it.
they started the Jon Moxley entrance for this match with 11 minutes left in the show.
I heard about they had it, and all of a sudden they went to commercial break.
Yep. Jesse, continue.
they literally,
I'm like,
they literally cut off Kazi Nanare. You do not cut off Kazi Nanare.
Which is now known as the Suzuki incident.
That is a legendary song. We sing the damn chorus. He comes out like a king because he is. He
Yes.
whoops somebody's ass and we move on. This was basically a squash match for Jon Moxley. Suzuki didn't even get barely any offense in.
Quick question.
By the way, they've had 2 great matches in New Japan. Excellent.
If
By the
we-
way, if you want to watch those matches, New Japan World,
Yep.
$10 a month, worth your money.
Jesse, random question. Is there not a bunch of lions they could send on excursion? Why is Kojima? I get why maybe Tanahashi didn't want to do this if that's the
I'm about to say, now I get why Tanahashi didn't want to be a part of
No
this.
shit.
if that's what they pitched Tanahashi, I could see why Suzuki did it.
You are nuts cutting off my song. They were probably like, wait, first off,
Suzuki and Archer have played it off great,
they have.
but they shouldn't have to.
And Suzuki is the consummate professional, no
Yes.
matter how scary this man is.
Yes.
But yeah,
This man
so-
beat up your wife and you're giving him your credit.
bro. He smashed my. Like, not even sexually. Like, he literally put his forearm into her face to his tag team partner, tries to pull him up. Like, what are you doing? But
doing
yeah,
his job.
Asuka
that's
asked
all.
for that, by the
but
way.
Asuka actually asked for that.
Yep.
Before the match, apparently.
Asuka and Mae Young are the consummate treat us like the boys. We're gonna get our asses.
Oh,
kicked.
apparently Emmy as well had a match with him too, and
Emi
said
Sakura?
the same thing. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm like, you women are crazy.
Yep.
The men are like, I swear to God, if you overpunch me in the face, I might kill you.
Yep. The women are just like,
they just take
let's go.
take the beating.
Yep. Nope.
Hit me now.
But
They're
back
tough.
to this.
But so
Oh.
not only that, but most of, as you guys already discussed, most of the matches are commercial. Are you kidding me? You get Minoru Suzuki on your television, and you have most of the match on commercial. Because by the way, it ends right after the commercial.
Yep.
And then they let John go celebrate with his hometown fans for 4 minutes.
Because apparently they went home 3 minutes
it
early, so
pitcher
Jon
and-
Moxley had to kill time by walking from one end of the arena to the other because they went home early. The show ended early, and instead of just doing what WWE does, which is, okay, cut the feed,
Right.
they decided, like, oh, John, keep going. You buried...
By the way, that's why I hate
you
that
want to
people
talk
get
about
mad
the
at
definition
SmackDown.
of buried?
I know.
They buried Minoru Suzuki.
They tried
I
to.
didn't think that was possible.
They damn sure tried to.
God, fucking idiots.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm saying
Yeah.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like you do this match, you let it go. You don't need to go to a commercial break. Let it
You
go.
could have cut so many other things on that show, too. You
Like
could have
the
cut
Young Bucks?
so much else.
You
Or
let
did I
this
say
go a
that?
half an hour. You let them smash the shit out of each other for half an hour, and I bet you would have did over 2 million because all of a sudden New Japan fans like, wait, my man is smashing somebody on American television. Boop! And at least for 1 week, you would have probably got to like 1.7. Because
Yeah.
New Japan fans would be like, oh, I gotta see him
At least-
smash John Moxley.
At least for that segment, yeah.
But
Yeah. Well, hey, at least
no.
they screwed up.
This
They're-
company, like Jim Cornette, I can't believe I've been
This is
agreeing
not
with him so
defendable,
much.
by the way. No,
It isn't.
I am now past the point. I don't care if you're my best friend in the world. There is no defense for what they did to Minoru Suzuki.
As
No.
Jim Cornette said, every time they are given a opportunity to do something great, they fucking squander it. Now, he doesn't swear on his shows. Well, he does.
Every once in a while he does, yes.
Jim's the master of it.
But I couldn't believe, like, yeah, no, Jim, that's absolutely correct. And I forgot Jim, because he says, like, I don't watch New Japan as much.
Yeah.
But he's like, I have a lot of respect for that man.
Yeah.
I think he kind of said is they have something great, there's something great, and they're doing good,
Yeah.
and they screw it up somehow.
Every time.
But again, I've said
Why?
on this show, Punk, Danielson, Cole, if you get these guys, you might consistently start getting 1 million. The problem that's going to hurt you from growing from even that is it's going to be these guys and then right back to AEW.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Are we gonna?
Why is the Dark Order? No. I need to ask. Why is the Dark Order still on television? I'm
Speak
sorry. Why are they
comedy
still
relief.
on television? They,
Comedy relief.
they have
They're trying to tell this story that
The
there's
comedy relief is Daniel Garcia in 2.0.
That's true. But they're trying, well, mostly 2.0.
Well, they think
Daniel
still
Garcia
with
is
the
actually
Dark
treated
Order,
very, very seriously.
Yes.
or they're doing it. They're keeping the Dark Order on,
Or to be fair, the
For
comedy
respect.
relief is the women's matches, but go on.
or out of respect.
Dude!
Out of respect for Brody, but that maybe is why they're doing it.
But
which
the problem
they
is
don't need
this:
to.
is that Brody was a constant professional, as we found out. Even he would look at this and say, "There's no reason for that." It's not even that they're like jokes; they have no direction.
Well,
They literally
they
have
don't.
nothing.
So it's a splinter because of what happened to Hangman Page, who, of course, sorry guys, who the story was written that he got beat up.
Yeah.
Half of them listened to him and didn't come out to save him. The other half wanted to go save him because he's supposed to be their friend and new brother.
But they've been trading on that for a month
And
now.
yeah, it's stupid.
for a month.
Like,
They've
either-
been trading on that one segment.
Either have them completely split up
Thank you.
or move the fuck on. Because now you actually got Anna Jay back,
Yeah.
who actually feels like the probably de facto leader at this point
I
of
also
the
hate
damn
to say
group.
it, Leroy. Nothing against
Yeah.
Anna Jay, because we all love ourselves some Anna Jay on this show. She dressed them down.
Badly.
She ripped them a new one.
And they
on
deserved it.
Dynamite.
Yeah.
And while they deserved it, you just had a bunch of guys get ripped out by a 120-pound female. which, by the way, America, screw your feminism. It's not a good look visually. It's not.
It's just like when we.
It doesn't make
and by the way,
sense.
no one can actually, because if they were okay with Stephanie constantly dressing down the men's wrestlers on Raw when the Authority wasn't, because that's all she did was dress them down.
Hypocrisy.
I'm about to say, because if you thought that was okay, like we disagree with it because we're
The
like
word
that
of the
looks
day.
fucking terrible.
Yeah.
because she just emasculates them all on like levels and levels and levels.
But it's okay
She
because
could-
it's Anna Jay and not
She
Stephanie.
could do that to me in private, but hey,
Leroy,
yes.
when we say dressing down, we're not even trying to make a joke. She legitimately made them look like school children by just talking, because they just sat there and took it. Nobody did anything. They stood there and took it.
Yeah, embarrassingly.
Wow. Some days,
Embarrassingly.
some days, you can't.
Yeah, they just scored. So they just scored on an 85-yard play. Sorry, guys. I wanted to show them that their Vikings were playing and just got scored on. But it's one of those things. If she's going to be the de facto leader and dress them down, no problem.
But they're not even alluding to that. It just happened out of nowhere.
Like I said before, this whole Dark Order thing either split them up, but no, AEW has to tell a 4-month story.
Yep.
Like, no, you don't.
No, you really
Sometimes
don't.
you can tell 1 month. If it's not completely working,
You know
finish
what I
it and
think
move
people
on.
get mad at the most is that Vince will end things and not mention they were ended. If he found a way to end, see, people get mad about ending the Hurt Business, which none of us agreed with.
Yeah.
But at least it ended on the show.
Yeah.
At least one day Cedric and Shelton weren't just somewhere else and we didn't even acknowledge they were. At least they got dressed down by Bobby, who wasn't a 120-pound female. He was the WWE champion.
And literally destroyed them.
At least they got beaten down.
Right. So it's one of those things.
So what I'm trying to understand
Yeah.
is why you have 2 YouTube shows. This is my problem with Rampage.
I agree with you. If you're gonna do this with the Dark Order, just do it on the YouTube shows.
No.
Yeah.
Better yet, let them be a running segment for 10 minutes on every Rampage.
And then
then
move
you can
on.
still have your big matches that should be
Yeah.
on Dynamite. But by the way, Rampage can't even hit 1 million anymore. Because the problem is they kill Rampage with a CM Punk situation.
Yes, they did.
Because
Yep.
you'll never live up to that again.
No.
You'll never repeat that moment. Nobody wants to watch Rampage because all they're gonna remember. By the way,
upcoming week
they've
they
been
might
to
be
Chicago
okay.
twice
I know.
since that weekend,
I know.
and it's been getting worse.
I know.
Even Chicago doesn't care that much anymore.
No, I saw they're going back to.
And don't give me this bullshit about WWE is being outsold by AEW right now in ticket sales. And ladies and gentlemen, WWE is trying to sell twice the amount of tickets.
By the way, for a Raw that they literally just fucking announced that they were selling that for.
Yeah.
That show for AEW has been announced for 4 months.
Yep.
When I saw that, I'm like, why is it every time you guys can? Because if you love wrestling, you would be like, oh, man, that's great. They're getting close to a really good number to sell out for Dynamite. That's awesome.
Yep. You have to compare it to
But
a
you
Raw.
just had to compare it to Raw, who just announced they were selling those tickets.
But this is the culture that Dave Meltzer has created. Dave,
when can we get to this asshole?
2 seconds.
Okay.
Number one, we're gonna get this out of the way so we can get to more things. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Dark Side of the Ring, the plane ride from hell.
Yeah.
We are here to make a statement that I think all 3 of us agree to. I'm gonna say my part, then we'll go to you 2.
Okay.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a wrestling issue. This is a quote, not sports issue. This is an entertainment-wide issue. That stuff like this, drugs, sex, rock and roll, it happens. I'm not condoning the stories, and again, they're all still alleged. But in my opinion, I want to thank the guys from Dark Side of the Ring because they left Randy Savage and Eddie Guerrero out of it. Corey and I were talking about this. We know they were on that flight. Stories will come out about this for 10 years now.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. They didn't need to be drug into it. Their families don't need to be drug into it. Dark Side of the Ring, I give you credit for leaving those guys out of it. They didn't need to be a part of it.
Yeah.
They're already dead. They're gone.
Yeah.
Let them rest.
Yeah.
It's over.
Yeah.
It was very respectful to the people it should have been. Now, on to other things.
Randy Savage was on that flight?
Reportedly, Randy.
Oh,
yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah. Reports were Randy was there.
I figure Eddie was there because he would have wrestled then back then.
Yeah,
it was a Raw flight.
Because he was the one he wasn't the one who busted up JBL,
No,
but
no.
because that was the Insurrection pay-per-view, which is actually decent.
I could be wrong about Randy Savage being there, but that was the conversation.
Okay.
But anyway, so we'll focus on Eddie.
Yeah.
Eddie didn't need to be drug up in this.
No.
But here's the deal,
No.
folks. Tommy Dreamer. First of all, why are we mad? First of all, this was probably filmed 4 months ago.
Right.
Impact's just now finding out that Tommy said this. What the hell is wrong with them?
That is weird.
They probably filmed this 3-4 months ago. You're just now figuring out that Tommy said it?
I'll clarify. It was 6 months ago.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
6 months ago they filmed this. They threw it in the can, and once again, nobody asked Tommy what he said. Nobody
I can actually clarify.
Okay,
this.
go ahead.
So, because I actually that's actually been brought up a lot.
Yeah.
Where people are like, wait a minute, how does Impact not know? So when they film these things,
Yeah.
they actually do not show the companies. They actually let the companies know. You'll have to see it when it comes out.
I also don't think what Tommy said was awful. It wasn't great because of the world we live in, but it wasn't.
We'll go to him, and then me. Yeah.
My whole point about this is.
By the way, Tommy has come out to apologize.
Yes, he has. As Leroy pointed out, and Leroy, I'll let you say it for yourself. Tommy looked up to Rick. You may continue with your statement from earlier. Go ahead.
Yeah, I would say everything is. Tommy, he was younger. He looked up to Rick like everybody did.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody, the younger wrestlers, looked up to people like that because they wanted to be them.
Yes.
Yeah.
He did not see everything that Rick did.
No.
He wasn't there when
He even
Rick...
said during the interview it was a secondhand account.
Yeah.
of what was being said.
And he said he's as they described on there. Ric Flair liked to put on his robe and nothing else, and then walk down the aisles and whip it out and flip it around like a helicopter. He did this.
Yeah.
It was a joke, and they laughed about it. Everything else that happened afterwards, not good.
We are still going to
But
talk
that
on this
was
show going forward about a
20
lot of these wrestlers.
years ago.
For their in-ring stuff. Their personal stuff we're going to leave aside, but we're professional on the show, and you can't talk about wrestling without bringing in Ric Flair, the GOAT in-ring, out of the ring that never questioned he was not. But Jesse, before we get to you, Corey brought this up from DPW, and he made a very good point of this, and I think it's factual. People are asking, why are they finally telling the story? I think it's because Mark Calloway is no longer in kayfabe.
There's a chance.
I have a feeling that Undertaker said, guys, now we can do something about this. Because it's been 20 years. He's no longer in the business. In my opinion, he was always untouchable because he was never going to do this kind of stuff anyway because that wasn't who he was.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, look, I am not defending and again, most of it's allegations right now because Rick's come out and vehemently denied that happened. But here's the deal. Drugs, sex, rock and roll. If you're sitting here all high and mighty like your favorite movie stars don't do the same thing, like your favorite bands haven't done the same thing, all I can say is this. People want to cancel culture Motley Crue. There's not a lady on this planet that has ever come out with a single sexual assault allegation against any member of Motley Crue. So can we leave Motley Crue alone?
Yeah.
Because even with all the bullshit they've done...
Most of that was consensual.
Exactly my point. But
I'll let you finish before I jump in.
But my final word is this. I am not condoning anything that happened on that flight. They could have also died by popping the door open. We all know that's dangerous.
But that would not have been possible.
For the most part, yeah.
With the pressure on the outside coming on there, it would not be.
But the other
ripping part of the fuselage by hitting it a few times, that is a possibility for happening.
Here's the thing. I am, Jesse, again, I'll let you say what you want, and what you believe is what you believe. That's why we're here. I don't want to talk about this in depth until about 5 more years down the line, because, Jesse, like I said, this was the PG version. There's so much more about that flight that we may never hear.
So here's what I want to say about that episode.
Yeah, go ahead.
By the way, this might have been the toughest one since the
Grizzly.
Yeah, Grizzly.
The Grizzly Smith episode, yeah.
Which was rough.
Yeah. I'll never watch that episode. I'll tell you that much.
Because most of these stories, like they're kind of hard to swallow, but you're like, okay, like because most of them have been wrestling related. Like, man, we probably shouldn't have did that shit, or
yeah.
This, when someone originally said, "Man, this is very incriminating," I was like, well. And I forgot this was actually on Vice, so if anyone saw me in like the PWL going like, wait, where do I watch this?
Yeah.
I forget Vice does these.
Right, yeah.
So I actually didn't watch it till 2 days ago.
Okay.
It is damning.
Yes.
Now, I am a guy who does believe guilty, innocent until proven guilty.
Yes.
But
yep.
I got to admit, that's damning.
Yeah.
That's So with the Ric Flair thing, my whole issue with the Ric Flair thing wasn't that it happened because apparently he's been doing. He used to do that since like the 70s. So
the naked under the rope
shit?
the
naked under the rope shit. Like
yeah.
that. Apparently that's just something he always did with the boys in the back, and then there was some groupies backstage. He would do it like nothing that no one didn't know about. You know what I mean? So if people if women back then didn't feel comfortable with it back then, unfortunately they probably weren't going to report it because it is Ric Flair.
Yeah.
And
the Plane Ride from Hell was 2002.
2001, 2002. Because it was right after Insurrection, and
Yeah.
that's probably the last pay-per-view I think they've actually done.
Yeah.
Over there
in London.
Yeah.
So that was bad enough, but here's why I was actually extremely disappointed by Tommy Dreamer's words.
Okay.
You have 2 girls.
Yep.
So they're sitting down with you, talking to you about this. And I get it might have been a secondhand account.
Yep.
But what was more damning is Rob Van Dam, who actually saw it clearly.
Yep.
Basically kind of apparently told everyone, like, including Tommy, like, yeah, no, dude, he kind of went back there and, like, put her hands on her hands on his genitals.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
Like, dude, we probably should be stopping Rick from doing that. And it felt very flippant, his response. And let me finish.
Yeah, no.
The problem with it.
I was honestly just gonna say I agree.
Yeah. Okay. And like I said, my problem with that wasn't the fact of the age we live in, but I'm like that the word of the day. It felt very hypocritical.
Yes.
Because if your girls ever told you that, Tommy, you'd murder the dude with your bare hands.
Yes.
Not even a
That is
question.
so true.
Yes.
I agree.
Not even a question.
I also think one of the biggest problems is we are now living in an era where a lot of these stories are not only getting told, not just the plane ride from hell, but Grizzly Smith, everything. They now will live forever on social media.
Yeah.
So I think the problem is that the Grizzly Smith thing, if it had come out at the time, I don't even think Dark Side of the Ring would have done a story on it. Because it would have happened, it would have moved on, it wouldn't have been remembered except for paper clippings.
Yeah.
But the fact is that we live in a world now where people...
But I got to give Vice this before I kind of finish up.
Yeah.
The fact that they're bringing these stories, and by the way, they are asking them permission to
Yes.
even talk about this.
Yes.
So when people come forward to talk about this, like I tell people, understand that's why people said it was incriminating.
Yes.
To like Tommy Dreamer.
The Vice guys are very professional.
And I will also say this episode is extremely. This is the first one I've seen to Vince McMahon that's damning. Here's what I mean by that.
Yeah.
He's on that plane. Now, I get that he shells out the orders and things of that
not
nature.
according to Jonathan Coachman, who went
And
on
the
record
reports
saying
on record
that Linda
saying
and
they
Vince
were
were
not
not on
there.
the plane.
But
And by the way, Gene had a Twitter conversation with Jonathan Coachman that Gene showed us. Jonathan replied to Gene on Twitter saying there was no way Linda and Vince were on that plane. So this is my point.
But here's the problem.
Yeah.
Is that
Well, this is why
the flight thing has him and Linda with the women in the upper echelon of that plane.
I understand. Yeah.
So, I mean, if they physically have the logs that he was there, maybe he wasn't.
Yeah.
But if he's there and he's the one who told kind of Jim Ross to go handle the guys,
Yeah.
here's the thing. If they're getting that wild and you hear it, because even back then there was a fear
Yes.
of Vince McMahon.
Yes.
They wouldn't have done it.
Exactly. Like, why didn't my whole question and a lot of people's question is, wait a minute. There's a lot of things about Vince I'll always defend, including the way he runs his business.
Yeah.
Because he's, he does care about us. It's just a very weird. It's like a weird grandpa kind of way.
Yeah, fair enough.
It's just, he has his love. It's just a weird way he shows it.
Yep.
But it's very damning. Like, especially when like Brock and God rest his soul, Mr. Perfect.
Yeah,
were
Kurt
kind of
Hennig.
play fighting back there.
Yeah.
Like you would think, especially with his wife on the plane, he gets up and goes, "Hey, no more of this shit. Go to bed." Because all that shit then stops. Because now they know, the boss.
But that's why I don't want to delve into this right now, because it's all, even with the firsthand accounts of people that said they were there, there's been so much confliction. I'm not here to talk about something that is that conflicting right now. That's just me. That's how I want to run, how I do this, is that we can talk about it because it's obviously a huge thing in wrestling.
Yeah.
But it's not, okay, when the Speak Out movement happened, there was a lot of stuff that came out, Joey Ryan, for instance, that was backed up and confirmed. This has been stuff where there's been so much contradictory stuff to it, I don't know what to believe. It's damning, but the Grizzly Smith stuff was also confirmed. My biggest thing is, going back to the hypocrisy of people who are now up in arms, don't act like your favorite entertainment people. Hollywood's got a deep, dark secret. That's never been...
Well, listen, I don't disagree with that.
Yeah.
But, like, I think most are up in arms, or most are kind of pissed off after watching the incident at Flair, only for this reason, and I was a little turned off by this.
Yeah.
And I get it. If you feel you're innocent, you should defend yourself.
Yeah.
But not saying anything is always more damning as a man when you are accused of something.
But I've actually heard that quote, Rick has denied it. I read a report
I have said this, heard the same thing.
So Renee Paquette.
Yeah.
Reached out before the episode.
Happy birthday, 36 years old.
Yeah, happy birthday.
36 years old.
36?
36.
Fucking John Moxley, you lucky man.
Yes,
she doesn't look a day over 27.
Right.
But it's to me it's damning in two senses.
When you love hockey, God gives you eternal youth when you love hockey.
You Minnesotans and Wisconsinites want to believe that, but
It's
you
true.
might look eternally young, but your knees are screwed.
Oh, like yours are any better? You want to?
I mean, my bag is messed up from football, but that's different.
yeah. Look at me, my hundreds of years old I am, and I still look good.
Because of hockey.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's damning to me, like I said, there's three things that's damning. One, Rick, that means Rick knew, because as Vice also put in the episode, they do reach out for
Yes.
people to
The one thing I'll
explain
say
their stuff.
is just a little behind the scenes. The Vice guys,
I think they do an excellent job.
they dot their
They
P's
do.
and Q's
Yes.
before they release
Yes,
an
they do.
episode. They really know
because
what
they
they're
give
doing.
everyone a chance to like weigh in, especially
Yes.
if you're being damned on something. They're like, "Hey, we
And-
want to hear your side."
And if they find out that, and in my opinion, the way I've seen them work, if they find out before they air an episode that it's all bullshit, they're going to pull that episode
yeah.
from ever airing.
Oh yeah, and
Yeah.
like they're very, very good, which
And
is
speaking
why they're
of which,
reputable.
serious- not to, I know we're having a serious conversation, but not to loop back to AEW just to be mean. So now that they're going to start putting out the second season of Dark Side of the Ring for the second time, now you want to feature Brian Pillman Jr.? Really?
Because they're that smart. Yeah,
But anyway,
I'm not even gonna get into that.
that's fair.
we can do that another
Yeah.
day.
But back to this.
They piss me off sometimes when they do stuff
Going
like
back
that.
to this, I do not agree with the allegations. I'm going to leave them at that, allegations. I do not agree with the way Tommy handled it, because Tommy's got to be smarter with that, not just for the culture that we're in, but because he has two daughters.
And,
But
the fact that he works with the women's division in Impact.
Right.
So like when I get why when Scott D'Amore and them finally see the episode, they're like, "Dude, I gotta send you home."
yeah.
But I had to send you home
But
at least for a couple of weeks.
But at the same time, if Tommy's gone for like a month or so and comes back, AEW, you didn't care that Max Caster came back. You didn't care that Sammy came. The hypocrisy will be all over the internet for me.
Oh,
Right.
listen, if Rick and I love Rick.
Yeah. So do I.
I love what he's brought to us in the wrestling industry.
Yes.
But I also understand there's
If
a
he's-
very terrible dark side to that man's history.
If he still ends up on Dynamite,
If he ends up on Dynamite in 2 weeks,
yep.
they've got no legs on moral ground to stand on.
Nope.
no.
And
they
they,
don't.
Period.
and they're barely on that now.
Because I know people are like, well, Brock is going to be featured. What Brock did with Terry Reynolds is not unacceptable. But unfortunately, a lot of them did terrible things to women back in those days, and I think that's why Vince changed a lot of his policies.
Can I also point something else out? Brock, I hate to say it, even if cancel culture comes for him,
Then
Brock doesn't give a shit. Brock will go home.
Because I'm going to Saskatchewan.
Brock, here's the deal. The reason why I think Brock will be untouchable is because part of getting at someone...
I do think this, though, out of that episode, besides Heidi Doyle, I think someone who really deserves an apology in the wrestling business
is Jim Ross.
besides him, is Terry Reynolds.
Yes.
Because a lot of people blacklisted her in the early 2000s.
Yeah.
Because after she got let go, she kind of started talking about a lot of stuff that happened to her.
Yeah.
And people were like, "Oh, now you get fired, and now you're damning all these men."
Yeah.
Well, the first one to exonerate her when he finally got clean was her ex-husband Dustin, and now she's been kind of like, validified. I can't think of the word. but-
Validated.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Because she wasn't trying to damn any other wrestler. She was just like, unfortunately, that's how it was. Like, there's a lot of shit I can't talk about that happened to me back then, and I literally had to leave a job that I loved.
Yeah.
Because I no longer felt safe.
But the other thing I'll say is to the people outside the wrestling business, Hollywood ain't clean. Baseball ain't clean. No sports clean. There is shit that goes on in the underground that you'll probably never hear about. That's 10 times worse than even this flight. So here's the deal. All I'm saying is, don't be a hypocrite and say, well, this should mean we should blow up the sport. Every bit of entertainment would go away.
Unfortunately, though, the Undertaker does not come
unfortunate.
out of this looking good either.
No, not at all.
in just this sense.
I agree.
Because he was the man that, before we move off
Yep.
of it, he was the man when he was talking about the industry where he was, exactly when he retired, how, like, we used to be men, we carried around our knives and this and this and this and this.
It's
now
not
these guys
helping. It's not
guys
helping.
kind of go play video games. Well, when you hear these stories, you're like, yeah, that doesn't seem so fucking bad.
Yeah.
No.
Like, yeah, they're all nerds,
That
but
is not
like,
That has not aged well. I agree.
Like when he said that on Hot Wings, I'm like, man, Mark, this does not look good on you.
Yeah,
No.
Because that means you know some shit that you're not talking about. Because I think the most damning thing to come out of this was when Rob Van Dam, which by the way, I think he smoked all of his filters out of his brain. But when
he was being honest on Twitter, he
which
goes,
I was shocked by.
Yeah, it surprised me that too when he said, "Yeah, people do it." He's flat out said, "I have never done it."
Yeah, well,
but he goes,
also
"But
talked
it
about how
has
they
done
used to
to
use
him."
it to like, they used to use the drug to like for local girls. So I'm like, are you admitting there a lot of these wrestlers were raping women back in the day? Like, and I was just like, whoa,
he kind of is.
But
he kind of was.
But when he said that, I went, man, that is damning on Mark Calloway, because Mark Calloway literally defended the shit out of Old School.
Yep.
And now that these stories are
I
coming
agree.
out, and he's not a bad guy.
No.
He's got no blood on his hands from anybody.
Yep.
Like, this is the guy, apparently Mark Calloway, that used to try to go fight guys in the back for doing stupid stuff.
But quote, turning a blind eye to it is
and not speaking of shit like that.
Yes.
So I'm like, man, that's kind of damning on Mark.
it also shows how deep they will go to protect the inner workings of the business. And by the way, folks, that's by the way, if you think WWE is the only company that there are territory stories that died with a lot of those guys.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, and it happened, and a lot of people say, well, they did, stuff's coming out. People are getting Tommy Dreamer's being punished now. Okay, they did punish some of the people on the plane for things they did.
Yeah.
They fired quite a handful that Jim Ross, unfortunately, had to do it.
yeah.
Well, because
And
so apparently what
he
happened,
was talent relations.
Yes, and so what happened, and I think Vince mostly did it because the airline company brought up to him the damages and all that shit.
Yeah.
And so Vince, because he had to pay out of pocket for all that shit, just to keep it quiet, probably.
Yep.
So it was Dustin, while he didn't get fired right away, they let his contract expire. They told him to go to rehab, and they let his contract expire.
And that's good.
Mr. Perfect was fired. They weren't going to fire. Brock, but Brock was fined pretty heavily.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Which is why I'm like, there's no canceling Brock for doing as far as like the fight on the plane and then the whole flashing Terry Reynolds. They did fine him. Maybe they should have suspended him. Yep. But to me, that's the gist of it, because he was a young dude.
To me,
following some of those older dudes.
a fine and a suspension are almost the same thing.
Well, and in the sense of a suspension, sometimes you don't need to be paid on a suspension.
Yeah.
At least a fine, you'll still eventually get paid, but for now they're taking money away from you.
Yeah, exactly.
And Scott Hall was fired because, to Vince, you said when we brought you back on the road that you should be able to stay away from the drinking again.
Yeah.
And you didn't.
Yeah, Jim Ross alluded to that.
Apparently, the ones they didn't talk about, Michael Hayes was suspended for 2 weeks.
What I'll give Jim credit for, even though he took a lot of heat from the internet, Jim
actually it seemed like he was someone besides Heidi that was looked at as a sympathetic figure. Like, dude, how in the hell was he
still got some heat? Is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But my point is,
he doesn't want to talk about it.
Yeah.
But no. That's my point. To be fair to Jim,
that's a tough job.
Jim
tough.
didn't sit there and he didn't light the torches or toss out the. Jim was almost in the mindset of, it's been told, move on.
And because I think what he said in the end, and I think this is why people are bringing heat to Ric Flair, especially younger wrestling fans who feel really disappointed right now.
Yeah,
is the fact that because Jim was like, because they asked him like, well, why do you think Rick wasn't punished? And he was just like, he was a made man. It's like, it's like in Hollywood. It took 25 years before. The producer,
Harvey Weinstein,
finally got arrested and all that, but he had been doing this shit for like 30 years.
Well, not only that, but like, okay, let's just.
But he was a made man. He's someone who has a lot of power.
I don't want to put this man's name, because so far anything that we've learned from this man's career has been, starring reviews. If Robert De Niro is in an incident in a bar and there's a couple extras in the bar, who's getting fired off that movie? The extras.
It's
not Robert De Niro.
No.
So don't sit here and act like Vince is the only guy who keeps around made men.
No.
Shit happened. Again, I'm not saying Robert De Niro's ever had a checkered past. Robert De Niro has, from everything I've figured out, great guy.
Yeah.
But that's the name level that I want to
Yeah.
bring into this, because I think when you think of Hollywood, the upper echelon of actors who can do whatever they want, whether it's The Godfather or a random comedy with a C-list cast,
Yeah.
it's Robert De Niro, and he's just...
Which, by the way, and before we get off of this, why people should go watch the Shoot interview. I think it was with Paul London.
Yes.
Who said, because he was around a little bit back then, and then when John Cena came in.
Yeah.
And people always wondered why Paul gave John glowing reviews, because what Paul said was, he was like, when he kind of became the locker room leader guy, a lot of stuff that you used to see in 2002,
Yeah.
John nipped in the butt.
Yeah.
Like, if guys are going out and getting over drunk and getting a little over feisty with local girls, John would be like, hey, man, you need to go back to the hotel room.
Yep.
Like, you got to go home.
Yep.
And he was like, maybe John did it to protect his pockets because he was a company man.
Yeah.
But John was a leader.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, John did not allow people, guys, whoever, to go out and fuck up money for everybody else.
Yeah.
Now, he's like, some things slipped through the cracks, and Vince
Yeah.
dealt with it.
Yeah.
But he was like, when John was a leader, which is why he's like, I think a lot of people hated John
Yep.
coming into 2009, 10, 11, and 12,
Yep.
was because John was very just protective of the company to a point where Vince didn't feel like he needed to deal with the wrestlers as much.
Yeah.
Because John and Mark and the wrestlers themselves started to police themselves.
Yes.
So, including apparently JPL quite a few times, where he's caught him bullying people. He's like, dude, what the hell are you doing? But of course,
But again, the JBL thing, in my opinion, needs to stop. Because
JBL's an asshole.
Because no. I'm not denying that. But what I'm saying is this: the idea.
JBL is a conservative douchebag.
Yes, but the ideas of.
And I will do his wife for him if he cannot do the job. Vote. JBL's wife, vote for Jesse Stowe for your pants. Continue.
Fair enough.
Dirty man. But I understand.
Ain't that the pot calling the kettle black?
In this case, it's black.
But anyway,
We're not
no,
trying to
no,
be mean.
No, but here's the deal. Here's the deal. When guys talk about old baseball ribs lighting guys' feet on fire with matches,
Those are all like little pranks.
we laugh.
Yeah.
JBL did things on that level that, nowadays that's bullying.
Yeah.
But here's the deal. Guys ribbed each other, but here's the deal. The average rib wasn't going to get a laugh when you're 300 days on the road.
No.
So sometimes stupid shit happens.
Yeah.
And by the way, okay, I'll point some out. To all the people out there, how many goddamn times do your kids go to school and something stupid happens in a locker room and the school doesn't do shit? Boys will be boys, women will be women. I'm not defending sexual assault, but stupid shit happens. When it gets to a level that Ric Flair is accused of, it needs to be dealt with.
Yeah.
But we don't need to drag everyone through the mud. We have to be more selective of things.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing, because the whole cancel culture thing annoys me, because I'm more about let's talk about what happened.
Yes, and move
because
on.
luckily
Move
a
forward.
lot of the younger wrestlers, even though they're all like around my age.
Yeah.
But I'd never considered 30s young, but apparently maybe it is.
Yeah.
But, for them, they will tell you sometimes meeting your heroes is disappointing.
Yeah.
So a lot of the guys they look up to. But I believe that what they're doing with the Dark Side of the Ring stuff is a chance for us to, if you want to do something where you're like, hey, Rick, you can't be on TV at least for a month or two. Like, we just, like, something, like, and at some point, dude, you got to come out with your side of the story.
Yeah.
Whether or not it's contrary or you're admitting something.
But Vice has never done anything that, quote unquote, completely damns
No.
someone to hell. No pun intended.
Besides Grizzly.
But Jesse, that's proof that, again, when it gets to an obvious issue, you gotta deal with it.
But otherwise, I like. There's nothing wrong with like Tommy Dreamer being suspended. I had no problem. I'm
Nope.
like, when I saw it, I'm like, as soon as Scott D'Amore sees this, he's got to send
Well,
Tommy
but again,
home.
Jesse, I've been the first guy to sit here on the show and say things. When a business is going to get bad press, they have to do something,
And it's also-
and they're going to do
And it's
something.
also something because, unfortunately for Tommy, it's not like this was done. Like he didn't do this interview 10 years ago, where then you could come out 10 years later to try to,
Yeah.
But listen, my views have changed.
Yes.
But this was literally done 6 months ago.
Yeah.
Heavily edited. You had every chance in the world to.
You signed off on it, Tommy.
Like you did sign off on it.
And I love Tommy.
Like I said,
I love me some Tommy Dreamer, but
I
but
still
yeah.
like Tommy a lot.
Yeah.
But I was just like, damn,
Not the best.
that is
Yep.
disappointing.
Yep, that's hard.
Because this is a man. Like I've met Tommy quite a few times, man.
Yeah.
And like I mean, maybe what's the name from MAW could pull it off to get Tommy Dreamer to
Yeah.
MAW show.
Yeah.
And I would still go talk to him, go get him a beer.
Yeah.
I love Tommy Laughlin. I actually think overall he's a good man.
Yeah.
But man,
Was this a bad look?
That looked bad.
Yep.
And so when I read it, or after I watched the thing, I was like, I expect today when I go online before SmackDown comes on,
Yeah.
he's going to be suspended from Impact, which
Yep.
it did happen
Oh, yeah.
fairly quickly.
So not trying to move on to bury it, but we got to move on. The show must go on. Ladies and gentlemen, the world did not end. The world has not changed to the point where we are all fighting in the streets. NXT 2.0 debuted, and it was actually just fine.
I'm about to say it was just more colorful.
Ladies and gentlemen,
It was actually, to be honest, it was too fucking bright.
I agree.
But quite colorful. I mean,
But in all seriousness,
I enjoyed it. Beginning
to
to
joke
end.
about it, to be serious for 2
Yeah.
seconds, what exactly were we shown that we should worry? I'm serious.
Well, because here's the thing: Shawn Michaels is still technically running the talent side.
Yeah.
Because, by the way, Triple H, please get as healthy as you possibly
Oh,
can.
yeah.
That's my hero.
Which, by the way, again, a genetic disorder.
Just the fact that he had a heart attack at only like 56.
No, hold on. I understand to the
I don't think he had a heart attack.
No, Leroy, hold on. I'm about to explain that. To the uninformed of the medical community, there are situations called cardiac events that can involve, damaging of heart muscles, but it's not necessarily a heart attack. There is an actual, bare bones difference.
Okay.
So while maybe that's just them doing the whole hockey thing, which is, it's an upper body injury. That covers a lot of ground.
Or football. Oh, it's just a sprain.
Yeah. So maybe they did that as to not worry everyone else.
Yeah.
But yes, it could have been something that was just a minor scare, and he was genetically predisposed to it.
Which, like I said, that's all I'm saying. I hope it was small. I hope I want him to get healthy.
Well,
because I have an affinity for Paul.
Well, the doctors have said they expect him to make a full recovery,
which is good.
Yeah. But anyway, no.
And Stephanie didn't seem too worried about it.
And I want to be honest, but no. What part of this show was so damningly bad that we have to sit here and we have to rip it and say they killed the NXT brand? No, everything must evolve. Everything must change.
I will say this: there are two things I do want to pick apart.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
First of all, as we talked about the colors being bright, but you know what? To be honest, I'm sure if you sit with your kids to watch it, they will love that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's
yeah,
just
my
me.
kids are probably loving it.
And that's me being, and like I tell people, I can admit it as a guy who actually loves professional wrestling.
Yeah.
I'm not the biggest fan of the brightest colors in the world. I'm just not and never have been.
Says the man wearing the pink shirt.
I know, but it's such a good-looking shirt.
He's man enough to wear pink.
Yes.
There we go.
Especially if it's a problem.
Yeah.
But yeah, so the bright colors and all that, the bright presentation, I was like, meh. You said it would look more like Raw and SmackDown, but really, it looks very like bring your kids to the show, which I have no problem with.
Yeah.
They want to. It feels like what Vince is now trying to target is a new.
It was
younger
also, by the way,
generation.
folks, the highest rated NXT since April 20th. Now, a buddy of
What was
mine,
the numbers on it?
770.
770.
nice.
It was,
Now, hold on a
it was
second.
up 30%.
Now, hold on a second. A buddy of mine who's very anti-WWE, he's kind of this whole AEW homer. Not going to say anything bad about him at this point, but here's the deal. He did say, and I quote, well, that was only because of the interest factor. It'll go down later. No. You don't get that high of a number after that long off without more than just interest factor.
Yeah.
Because people had to have stayed on the show for 770 to have come out the way that it did.
Yeah.
They don't just say, oh, this is what the numbers were at the top of the 7 o'clock hour, and that was your whole night.
No.
They had to have a decent amount of
They had
people
a
stick
really good
around
number.
for 2 hours.
A really good number for a Tuesday night.
Yeah. But anyway, go get.
But
yeah, okay.
And
Colors are off.
my second bone. I don't care if Vince is more involved because sometimes that just means
Vince actually wasn't there.
Yeah,
but I understand.
Because if he's working with Triple H and Shawn with the stories,
yeah,
that actually can only mean really good things for NXT.
Yeah,
I do believe that.
Yeah.
Why'd you have to bring that asswipe of a camera director you have? There was 2 matches where I literally counted and almost puked.
Yeah.
There was literally like 20 cuts. I'm like, I get enough of this on Raw.
Yeah.
I don't need it on NXT.
Yeah.
Why won't you fire this guy? Dude, it's the one thing about WWE television, which thank God Fox told him not to do this, which is why SmackDown is more watchable.
Yeah.
But Jesus Christ, why do you have to cut 30 times in a match? I don't get it. What? Oh, man, let's get the underneath hit. Oh, let's get that. Oh, let's get the ring. Oh, let's get that. Is he dying, like, in his eyes?
Maybe
is that buck-toothed idiot dying in his eyes? I hate Vince. By the way, I once again reached out about my application to do creative.
Yes.
Because the first thing, if he was like, well, what would you want me to change? I want you to fire that buck-tooth idiot. If you want Hollywood people to do this, hire a Hollywood former, like, third director, someone who worked on an action scene to come help you with this. Because this idiot will make your fans puke at home. That's too many cuts.
Yep.
It's like these are young people who are trying to make themselves better on television.
Yep.
When you cut that much, sometimes you start to see the flaws from a different angle that you didn't even need to see it
I
from.
agree.
Mhm.
Like, he's an idiot. But otherwise, overall, it was fine.
But otherwise, other than an aesthetic thing that bothered
God,
you.
he's an idiot.
No, and that's fair. But other than the aesthetical issues you had,
idiot.
what was the creative issue? What was the actual in-ring issue? This was great.
Yeah.
It was.
Braun Breaker looks like a star.
God.
By the way, he can already talk.
Oh yeah.
Like I'm like, you know what? I think this
And
is
clearly Vince didn't hate the old NXT because
No.
look who he made the champ
know.
night 1 of 2.0.
I know.
He clearly believes
And
that.
people are trying to downplay it. Well, I mean, you had to do something since Joe got hurt. You had
Then
to
go
have
to
it
LA
over.
Knight because
Right.
LA Knight's a Vince guy.
Exactly.
He is a Vince guy personified. I always said he was WWE and TNA.
Yes, he was.
He was.
He was.
Then
He was-
go with LA Knight.
He was WWE and NWA. It's so. I'm like, why are you trying to downplay it? Clearly, Vince likes the NXT guys.
And you know what? Enough of this crap about Kyle O'Reilly got pulled for these. We don't know why Kyle's gone.
Right now, the rumor is he's getting called up.
Yeah.
So they beat him off of NXT television in front of those fans.
Which, by the way, Rhea got literal buried by
Yeah,
Raquel
right.
Gonzalez.
Yes,
She
that
fell
is
through the
true.
stage and then popped up on Raw.
It became Raw Women's Champion.
Exactly.
Oh, but guess what? People had a problem with that too. Listen.
Of course.
Listen. By the way, because we're consistent here.
Yeah.
I'm okay with Ruby Soho getting the title match.
Yeah.
Like I said, my only problem is now you're booking yourselves into the same corner WWE did with her.
Yes.
But otherwise, there's no problem with bringing in a new woman.
I swear to God, I am going to come out on this show by December. If this match happens with Britt and Ruby loses, and then by December she's just on every other Dynamite,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm serious, every other Dynamite, and then maybe a Rampage
Mm-hmm.
now and then, I am going to rip them an asshole. I have yet to rip them because it'll be the biggest hypocrisy move ever. Because like you said,
There we go.
WWE at least admits they booked themselves
Yeah.
into a corner by trying to work out of it. Whether they do a good job of it or not,
It's a different discussion.
They tried with Ruby,
Yeah.
it just didn't go anywhere.
It just didn't go very well for
because
them.
they'd already booked themselves in
Yeah,
a corner.
yeah.
But if you assholes just do your regular schizophrenic bullshit, and I'm just supposed to accept that, she's on Dark 7 times a week?
Dude.
No.
Dude.
I'm going to rip
Amen.
you a new asshole, AEW.
Because she's going to lose, which is the problem.
Yep.
That's fortunate.
But unless you book yourself with the fact
By
that
the way,
there's
I'm going to
interference.
say it again. I don't give a damn if it fit. I don't give a damn if she's a punk rocker, because maybe punk gets misunderstood by the people trying to write this shit. That promo with Britt Baker was beneath Ruby.
It was.
Because Ruby loves punk, she looks punk, but she's so well-spoken.
Yeah.
She could have come up with something so much better than
Oh, yeah.
banging a dude in the back. Not to mention the fact, it's not like the Adam Cole story was one of those stories where it's like, in WWE, a lot of the interpromotional relationships. They were a lot of rumors. We knew about this.
Yeah.
This wasn't that big of a deal.
No.
Britt's facial expression to me was a real life expression of like, really, really. People have known about this since before he was NXT champion.
Right. Because by the way, she was at one of the shows, and they actually showed her on WWE television before AEW started.
Yeah. So my point is this. That was such a
Which is, by the way, apparently
written for her,
apparently was
her.
the same weekend they actually gave her the trial. Actually, when I found out that fact, I found that interesting.
Yeah.
Oh.
But Jesse, come on. Can we just be honest about 2 seconds?
No,
that was
no.
so beneath Ruby.
The wording was I hated the wording, but I didn't mind the promo because I'm like, these kind of promos still get pops.
I agree, but then again, so does Bryan Danielson looking at Kenny Omega and saying you got no balls, and I'm like, why is the American Dragon sinking to Kenny's level of promos?
Actually, the only reason I like that because it feels like Kenny character has no balls.
Well,
we know this.
I agree, but like Jesse, Bryan Danielson does not need to be working with the elite if he's just going to do elite shit.
I don't think it'll get too elite, but what I don't like is now he is involved in the whole elite story.
Yeah.
Because it does feel like he might get dragged down by it.
But back to NXT 2.0, the tag matches were good. The singles matches were good. The Fatal 4-Way was off the charts good.
Oh, especially
and
when
the wedding was phenomenal.
The wedding was awesome.
This was one of the best.
The wedding was absolutely awesome. Because speaking of no defense, so with the wedding, you guys like that?
Yeah.
So the wedding, so for people who don't know, they did the Indy Dexter wedding on the main, which by the way, smart.
Oh yeah.
This is how I know Sean is still in control.
Yep.
You don't have a lot of big stories besides this one. This one should close out this first new show.
Yeah.
This was brilliant. So the wedding starts. By the way, awesome to get Austin Theory down there for this wedding. This story has been missing him so
Damian
badly.
That was
Priest
so-
was so
Damian
good.
Priest showing
oh
up
my God.
because, of course, he was
hired
at
a
the
priest.
beginning.
William Regal's facial expression when he was told to go do the marriage, he was like,
And what's up with that fucking
so that
referee zombie
that was the ref
behind
that
him?
apparently Dexter killed, but no one likes to talk about. That's the ref that
Oh, that's
Dexter
okay. I
killed.
was trying to
the ref
remember
was
about
also
that. Oh my
the
God.
ref was also at a bachelor party.
Yeah, yep.
So yeah.
So
no,
apparently
it's-
the dead ref is Dexter's best friend. I love it.
that
Absolutely love it.
and remember Dexter and Cameron Grimes
Yeah.
had a match.
Yep, in the
a
haunted house. Because he killed. That was the ref he killed in the haunted house.
Okay, all right.
So
Oh my God.
they're at least keeping the tongue in cheekness
Yeah,
of
which
it.
I love.
It was so-
This is the whole long-term story stuff I love because it's like, oh yeah, I remember he killed that ref and now he's still like his friend. I love it.
Yeah.
So they're doing the vows and then they ask for the wedding ring. So Johnny Gargano looks at Austin and goes, "Hey, you got the wedding ring, right?"
We're in a ring.
We're
Sil.
in a ring. Like God, he's been so missed.
It's been so.
He's been
good.
so missed.
By the way, Candice. This is why I think Johnny's staying. Is because I think he'll stay as long as Candice will.
Well, and here's the thing.
Oh, yeah.
especially with the pregnancy.
They talked about characters and for the main roster.
Yeah.
Johnny is a character.
Yeah.
Why
He
wouldn't
is.
they want Johnny on the main
Well,
roster?
but Johnny's probably going to stay in NXT as well.
Well, I think if he resigns, he'll actually probably get brought up because I think the fact that he can apparently Vince has loved everything he's seen for Johnny.
Oh, yeah.
The only reason he didn't get called up after his Royal Rumble spot was apparently a Triple H thing. Triple H asked the finish because I think they were doing the last remnants of the story between him and Ciampa at
Yes.
that point.
Yes.
Yeah, I
So
think
he didn't call him up because at the time I don't think they had any interest in Ciampa.
Yeah.
But man, Johnny's so great.
Well, but here's the deal. I remember the moment when Indy, during her vows, was talking about Dexter sneaking in. Candice and Johnny, was that more real than anything I've ever seen on
That
television?
was like, what?
They were just... Candice does so much with doing so little.
Yeah,
It's
I
great.
know.
I love her.
And I like
Oh.
so. Of course, they asked if there's anyone. By the way, because I thought it was great that
Anyone
at
to
first,
complain?
If
so he
anyone
opens
thinks
his jacket
and then just turns.
and there's just an axe, and everyone who raised their hands like, yeah, never mind.
Yeah, we're good. I loved that oh god, the name escapes me. Current cruiserweight champion, one of my all-time favorites.
Oh, Kushida.
I love
Kushida,
Kushida during the whole thing.
Oh,
he
he's
looked
great.
like he had no idea why he was
Yeah.
there, but he was still trying to have a good time.
He was like, I don't know why they invited me out here, but I'm gonna try to enjoy it.
And by the way, I saw a couple people online say this. This is an embarrassment for Kushida. I'm like, he's worked with Yano, so this ain't.
I'm about to
even
say,
No,
he
it
loves
isn't.
doing comedy
He
stuff.
loves the comedy
He
shit.
loves it.
But no, folks, this was one of their best wedding segments ever.
By the way, because this is one of the first ones in a long time, had a happy ending.
I know! It was so good! And by the way, Johnny was right on Twitter when he said when you get a genuine response, and that's what they got when
They
he
did.
said I do.
Yeah.
And by the way, Austin Theory behind him with just the Austin's face when he said I do was the most perfectly that screenshot is a meme, but in the best way.
It's all, well, because it was him, Johnny reaction when he actually spoke. Because he was like, "Oh my God, he actually
And,
speaks."
and by the way, people want to give WWE shit. They actually made Johnny's turnaround to liking Dexter.
Yeah.
They actually pulled that out.
Yeah.
They
Oh, God,
actually
yes.
made Johnny work for
Oh,
them.
yeah.
To me, see, for me, that's going to be you and me when Leroy has to talk to Clara's future husband. We're going to have to make Leroy come around a little bit, probably, depending on who Clara ends up with.
Maybe.
He might
I have a
never
shotgun.
come around.
I'm aware.
Oh,
Hey Jesse,
God,
hey
yes.
Jesse, just for prosperity's sake, you be Odyssey Jones, I'll be the zombie referee. How's that?
Oh man, Odyssey Jones almost choking that dude out who stood up. That was great.
Oh my god.
Oh, that was. By the way, that's a brand new NXT
Yep,
wrestler.
yep.
Man, listen, this wedding was awesome. Beth Phoenix, I last night knew this was going to happen, so I became an ordained minister.
Beth, I don't know what they did to Beth, but they stopped telling her to yell as much, and she
Yeah.
gets to now talk.
Yeah.
And her basically running this whole segment. If I'm Indy or I'm Dexter, I don't feel embarrassed by this segment
No.
because Beth has sold this in the best.
Yes, she
This-
has.
Oh, God, yes.
Here's the deal. What I've learned is that I feel like NXT 2.0 is going to be a lot of what Triple H was trying to do.
Yeah.
I just think Vince wants the aesthetic changes.
Probably.
Not
Probably.
that I don't think you're going to see a lot of guys who maybe aren't ready for television. But again, NXT, until Hunter decided to become the indie darling, and Hunter, you did a great job of it, but here's the deal. It was supposed to be developmental. This is a nice, fun way for, I think, people to see guys learn. To see guys. It's not supposed to be Raw and SmackDown, and I think that's what Vince was trying to get back to,
Yeah.
is that if we get a low rating, it's not a big deal, because it's not supposed to be the tribal chief and his table. It's supposed to be guys that are learning on the fly.
Which, by the way, is still
Fly!
which by the way is still
Yes.
which is still doubling anything AEW does.
And by the way,
And Raw.
we're going to have this conversation again because I know we talk about it almost every show. This was a better wedding than Kip and Penelope. This was every.
Yes.
This show.
Actually, the
proves-
only thing maybe this missed was James, Reverend James. That's it.
that's about it.
That's about
There
it.
you go, yeah.
Because he's great wherever
I'll
he
be
goes.
honest with you, though. I do think Chucky would have had a much more fun time at this wedding than he did at the Miro.
Oh
Penelope
God!
Kip
Of course he would have.
Yeah.
Because he would have been a Dan Butler.
There you go. No,
So stupid.
I did. I love
Folks.
all the new talents
Oh,
they
God.
showcased.
And that's
I
it.
mean,
Nobody looked like a greenhorn. Nobody
No.
looked awful.
No.
Von's Wagner actually looked great in that main event.
I got to be honest. I was
wow.
actually shocked that he got the spot. But so Von Wagner is someone they've been training for, I think, 1.5 years, 2 years.
yeah.
mhm, yeah, I think
So apparently his development has been insanely great because I'm like, man, because to me it had when he replaced Kyle, I'm like, man, this has got Karrion Kross as far as like, because that 5-way, I always said like it was weird when Karrion got back involved because
Yeah.
then the match slowed down.
Yeah.
like so it felt like 2 paces.
He
all
kept
the time.
up. Wagner,
Wagner
he
kept
did.
up.
Wagner
perfectly.
kept up. Hell, you would have thought he was in that match the whole time the way he wrestled it.
Right. Right.
I
so
did like the two
LA
brothers. The
yeah.
two brothers as the tag team.
Yep.
That was good. That was old.
Yep.
Kind of like Greco-Roman wrestling
Yeah.
a lot.
LA
I mean, that
So
was great.
they're both Olympic trained wrestlers.
Yes.
Yes.
LA
So yeah,
Knight-
it does help.
Getting 2 segments was great.
Yeah.
It shows that they're high on him and that he's getting an opportunity. Gabe Stevenson, when he finally gets here in about a year, because he's finishing up, reports are he signed a 3-year deal with WWE, but it doesn't start until he finishes up his education.
Because
with university.
he's got to finish his degree.
Yep.
He wants to finish his degree.
Yep.
Right. By the way, I would not be shocked now to start seeing Ken's guys get pulled. That's why I said if AEW is going to do that with my guy Paul Verke, do it now.
Yep.
Because they apparently just bought a former school down there, a former gym.
Yep.
So Gableson and friends can use.
Yep.
So he can train.
Yep.
Which now means Ken Anderson, because Ken Anderson was already working with Gable.
Yep.
Is that means Ken Anderson probably is going to probably talk to Vince, and if any of his students can get in front of Vince and show what they're made of,
Yeah.
Oh God, yes.
they're going to
Because
get pulled
again-
to NXT.
Because again, Ken, I don't think in the end has burned his bridges, because I think at the time it was what it was, but it's the wrestling business. We all grow, we move on.
Apparently, they've moved on.
Yeah.
Plus, he always also had a really good relationship with Molly Holly, who co-owns the school.
Yeah.
So that was never
Yeah,
a
no,
problem.
That's and unfortunately, LA Knight got busted open the hard way.
Yes.
And
And for Leroy's favorite segment,
hey,
Mandy Rose is now no longer one of Vince's blondes.
No, she's a brunette.
oh my.
And by the way,
God.
folks, for those of you that Vince likes the blondes, why would you turn the blondest of the blonde this way unless you... Because, again, if he's in charge, he signed off on that.
Well, I mean, let's be clear, though. Outside of Charlotte, Becky's a champion.
Yep.
Bianca was a champion for a long time.
Yeah.
Asuka was a champion.
And by the way, Becky's done such a good job returning heel.
Yeah.
Guess what? No one's talking about that match at SummerSlam anymore. I said that night, give Becky a month,
Yeah.
and you'll forget about the SummerSlam.
Like I said, my only thing was I was like, man, it just felt odd.
Yeah, no, I agree. But then I said that night, give Becky a month,
Right,
and whether
right.
and whether she stays face or she
Right.
goes heel,
Right.
you're gonna forget about this moment.
Well,
you will.
And then once I heard
Yeah.
the rumors that she wants to go heel, I'm like, okay, the 5-second thing actually makes sense.
Yeah,
No, I
26.
like
Yeah.
26. I do like Mandy. I like Mandy as a blonde or a brunette. I don't matter. But she's looking really good down in.
But she got her ass sent back down. So this is what I hate to correlate to AEW, but this is where Vince gets it. She was still a little green. So she had the
And now
great
she's
match
getting
with
better.
Sonya before
By the way, I hate to say this because Jesse brought this up originally, and Jesse even said, "All you people gotta eat a little crow here." Eva Marie has actually looked better the second time
Yeah.
around because she was called. She even said it during Total Divas. She got called up too early. So let me tell you
Yeah.
something. Eva Marie, whether or not she's supposed to be Becky or Charlotte, she's not.
No.
But she is clearly better in the ring.
Yeah.
There's a more developed character.
Yes.
There's a realisticness to Eva Marie
Yes.
now that was not there the first time. And that's why her segments are not considered bathroom breaks to me anymore, because I'm actually genuinely slightly still intrigued to see what she's going to do.
It's just I'm hoping that they're finally moving on from the Dewdrop thing.
I hope so.
Piper actually said in an interview that she actually likes it.
Which I'm giving her all the credit in the world for, because she is once again consummate professional. Is going to take something and make it work. She's great.
Yep.
Yeah,
Broke
she
my
is.
heart to see, but congratulations, she got married.
Oh,
Broke
yeah,
my heart.
yeah.
Yep.
Beautiful woman.
Yep.
But I'm like, the story though. Okay, we got to move on.
All right,
we
Leroy.
do gotta move on.
Leroy, in that segue, you have for me, and Jesse doesn't know about this, even though it's down at the bottom. Leroy, you got the blocks for the G1 because the G1 is hot and ready, ladies and
So
gentlemen.
here's what stinks. I've only seen night one.
Gene's got night 2 in the lounge.
Okay. Well, no. So just because of my pain and my
Right, yeah,
sleeping
yeah.
pain, I've actually only watched night one. I'm actually going to watch night 2 when I get home.
Leroy's got the results
All
from
right.
night 1.
All right, perfect.
Oh, I got the results.
First
for
of all, the blocks, please, for our
the
fans.
blocks. We got
Block
oh,
A.
Yeah.
By the way, Jesse,
I'm gonna
it-
kill
Jesse,
these names, Rabbi.
Well, here, give it to Jesse.
I was about to say I can do it.
yeah,
for you.
no, give
I
it-
know some of them,
But Jesse,
I got you.
There you go.
Jesse, before we even read the names,
Yeah.
what is your block of death this year?
It's definitely Block A.
Okay.
It's
Okay.
always Block A.
So then what is block
it really is.
Go
so
Block A.
Block A is Toru Yano.
Ah,
My God, please never change Toro.
this is his year, 2000.
Oh,
Yano,
is it the year
he's
of
gonna
Yano?
do it.
Yano, 2021.
He's going to do it. He won his first match.
He did.
He's never won his first match, so that's a good sign.
We got a chance now.
We got a chance. Yujiro Takahashi, the pimp.
Yes.
The great Okan. Now, I was actually shocked because I'll be honest, and that's why when Will Ospreay showed up to the New Japan Strong pay-per-view,
Yeah.
which technically that's what it was, people.
Yep.
Even though they kind of gave it away.
Yeah.
Was because I was like, Will Ospreay's going to be in Block A so he can get his championship back.
Yeah.
So when they kind of did this story, I was like, oh, interesting little twist. Zack Sabre Jr. I mean, listen.
Now, you jumped into
Yeah.
your point before. What was the last name that you mentioned?
Great Okan. So Great
Okay.
Okan is a part of Will Ospreay's faction known as Empire.
Okay.
And so when Will Ospreay said he wasn't doing the G1,
The fact that Great Okan is in there.
the fact that Great Okan is in there, I was like, oh, okay, because they usually will have at least one
Yes.
or two people from the factions
Yes,
in there.
yes.
So the factions have someone
well, remember,
to fight for the
remember,
championship.
Bullet Club has gone through the G1 where they not only. Well, okay, 1 year they tried to dominate. 1 year they just said, screw it, we're going to get disqualified. And mess up everything. So, I mean.
I think that was 2 years ago. I remember that.
Yeah. So yeah, no, I mean, the G1 is once again a place that, although it's a sacred tournament, they really do keep you involved.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
Yes.
By the way, great storytelling in a tournament.
Yeah.
They're the best at it.
Yep.
Shingo Takagi, and of course, they always have the champion
Yes.
in the tournament. The champion will always do well. I'm interested to see which match he does lose, though.
Okay.
Because
All right.
the champion always loses at least one.
Yep.
They kind of do it as a surprise every year, and it kind of lets you know someone that they want to push up.
Yano.
I hope so.
Okay.
Oh, I hope so.
Yano. Oh, we can hope.
Tomohiro Ishii, my guy, the dog Ishii.
Oh, Ishii.
I
I still can't get over the rare photo of him with hair. That's just a weird,
Right.
That just
Right.
that makes me uncomfortable. It actually does. All right.
I've known him as a bald man for a long time.
It'd be bad as like if I shaved.
Tonga Loa,
Okay.
which to me was only a shock because he's not in the same block as his brother, and they've never done that.
You're actually shocked that they're in a different block.
That they're in
Okay.
different blocks this year.
Okay.
By the way, Tetsuya Naito losing his first match, and we'll get to that.
Yeah.
Wow. Did not see that coming.
Yeah.
Kota Ibushi, my guy. The god. He's going to be 40.
Yep. He looks 22.
Right!
Kenny actually looks 50. they did not age the same.
They did not age the same way for the styles that they do.
No.
And then Kenta rounds out the A block.
Yep.
Kenta is actually still a dark horse in
Yeah.
this thing.
Yeah.
That
That actually sounds like a block where I'm like, even if I win a match in this block, I'll be happy.
man, you'll be lucky.
You're gonna get hurt in this block.
In this block, the winner who goes on, of course, to fight the winner of B block to try to get the championship match.
Yeah.
You're gonna be injured.
This is gonna hurt.
It's
yeah.
gonna hurt.
This is gonna
Now,
hurt.
block B is Jeff Cobb,
Cat.
another member of Empire, Will Ospreay, but he's always in the G1. He's someone that kind of
Yeah,
slowly
yeah.
building to their audience.
Yeah.
But Jeff Cobb's excellent.
Yep.
Evil. By the way, going back to Jeff Cobb for a second, Tony Khan, you had a chance to offer this man fucking 6 figures like you did everyone else, but you only offered him 5. You're a dick, and that's why he's
Yep.
back in New Japan.
Yep.
That's what you get, you dummy. Evil, former champion.
Yep.
Evil's great. Tachi, who I actually think right now is my favorite to win this block.
Really? Okay.
Because they seem insanely high on Taichi.
Okay.
For those who don't know, if you ever watch and you see the dude that kind of fake sings his way out with the lovely, sexy Kitten. I forget her actual name, but her nickname's Kitten.
Yep.
Gosh, she's so sexy. That's who Taichi is. But they're very, very high on Taichi.
Yeah.
You know, my guy, the Rainmaker!
Okada. And by the way, Okada has another reason why he's the Ric Flair / Undertaker of
Yeah.
New Japan. He is not above putting people over in the G1.
No, or in the other tournament. Shit. I'll get back to it. But yeah, because he's great.
New Japan Cup.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you. He's not opposed to it ever, and that's why he's
Hold on a
great.
second. You mean the tournament where Machine Gun's career peaked, according to the
It's true.
according to
I have yet to see Jay White tell a lie.
Here we go.
That's all I'm saying.
That's true.
All right.
That is so true.
You're gonna have to bring your King Switch shirt to,
Yeah, yeah.
to our weekend watching this.
All I'm saying, people, is I have yet to see. This is why I ended up on his side even after he joined Bullet Club. I'm like, you know what? This man has yet to lie to me. And he's supposed to be a heel. Will you lie to me for once so I can boo you?
Yeah.
Hiroshi Tanahashi, who's now at this stage in his career, every now and then he loses that first match to put a guy over.
Still puts on bangers of matches, though.
Will be 50, I think.
I hate to be that guy,
God.
but
yeah,
but
he doesn't look it, but yeah, he'll be
but
50.
by the way, once again, I asked this topic on
or close to it.
Yeah, I asked this topic on a past show. I do want to actually sit down and legitimately make this a topic. I don't know when, maybe later in the G1.
Mm-hmm.
Could this have been Eddie if Eddie had not passed?
Yeah.
Because even though we all feel yes, I really want to analyze.
Man, I'll be honest. If Eddie hadn't passed, I think you actually, because he probably would have retired now.
Yeah.
But we would have got to like 2017, like, dude, this dude's like 50, and is still putting on banger ass matches, even better than Tanahashi.
I
like Eddie was such a technician
unless
in the
you're a
ring.
lion.
Yeah.
Unless you're a lion who's learning, I don't see how anyone could have a bad match with Tanahashi at 50.
Oh, yeah.
Tanahashi, it's funny because he'll go have these great matches with these young guys, but like I can literally watch the match and go, dude, he's teaching him while he's having a banger ass match with this kid.
Mhm.
Like, you legend of a man. That's why he's the ace.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's a way to do it.
Tama
They're gonna have to retire that name when he finally decides.
because
to go
there's no
home.
one else that's going to be
No
like
one's
him ever
ever
again.
gonna be able to live
ever
up to
again.
this. No.
Tama Tonga.
Yep.
Right now, they're telling an excellent story, but it just did not start well, apparently.
Okay.
And like I said, I haven't seen Night 2 with B Block, but
Yeah.
with Tama, who wants to win, but so far he's already lost his first match. So the story is he told Bullet Club never interfere in my matches so I can win this year.
Okay.
Because he wants to, because he's been talking about winning this thing for like 6 years now.
Yeah.
So it's a very interesting story.
You have said during last year's
Mhm.
tournament you don't think they're ever gonna put him in that slot.
Even with this story, I'm like, I think what they'll do at some point, and maybe it'll be next year, because he's gonna hit 40 pretty soon.
Yeah.
Is I think Tama will win the New Japan Cup,
Okay.
which is not a lesser tournament, but it's
You did say that.
Yeah.
You did say
Yeah.
that the highest achievement they may give him is
it's
the
a
cup.
New Japan Cup. I think I don't know if they'll ever put the belt on him, and it's a damn shame
Yeah.
because really in the ring, he's their Randy Orton as a singles guy.
Yes.
Like the guy
okay,
just
yeah.
doesn't have a bad match.
Oh yeah. By the way, as soon as we're done with the G1, we're gonna get to your point that you want to get to all day about Mr. Meltzer, because that statement pisses me off. But let's finish this up.
God.
Anyway, for the
Have you-
good.
I don't think.
I'd say which one? He's made
No,
a
no,
few
no.
in the
Oh,
last
so
few
Leroy,
days.
Leroy didn't see it.
We're gonna get to
Stay
it
off
right
your
after
phone
this.
until we get to that.
Right
statement.
after this.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, right after this, we're gonna get rid
Stay
of
on the line.
Stay on the line, Leroy, but don't look at your phone.
Hiroki Goto,
Okay.
my guy.
Goto's always had a great run in these tournaments.
So Goto is a former IWGP Heavyweight Champion, but it
Yeah.
was a very short run, unfortunately.
Yes.
I do think they're going to give him a longer run before his career is over. He's starting to have some knee injuries and stuff, so we'll see.
But he's always had a great G1
Oh, dude,
runs.
anytime they put Goto in the tournaments, every match of his is going to be great.
Yeah.
The only one I've ever seen, and that's because he was hurt, was him and Toru Ishii, who tried to. So Toru Ishii literally tried to wrestle a match like 2 weeks after his surgery, but you could tell.
Yeah.
But you could tell like his
Not
body
great.
wasn't fully healed.
Not great.
But Ishii's a tough son of a bitch, and they did clear him. But
Yeah.
Yoshihashi.
Okay.
And then Chase Owens. Listen, big ups to Chase Owens. Sorry, yeah, here you go. Big ups to Chase Owens, who's
Yep.
finally getting this shot. Finally kind of coming out of the junior shadow.
So okay. So in Block A, you've got Kenta as your dark horse.
Yeah.
Who do you have winning Block A? We're gonna get real sports based here for a second.
Right, like New Japan actually is.
Unlike Spot Monkey, we're gonna become real analysts for a second.
So I'm being real when I say this.
Okay.
I think it might be Yaro. I think it might be Tano. They've been pushing him to the moon, even with the comedy. They've been pushing him to the moon recently.
Toru Yano, yep.
Yeah, so like I actually think he's gonna win this damn block.
What's the highest he's ever placed in the G1?
And his block was 4th.
Okay.
And that was 2 years ago.
You're think Yano?
I think Yano's gonna win. Yeah.
Who do you have for Block B?
Like I said,
Who's your dark horse in Block B?
In Block B, my dark horse
Is Tama?
is Tama.
Is Tama, okay.
Because there's always a chance they do it.
Yeah.
But it's almost like Vince and like for the longest time when you would look at when he was Daniel Bryan in WWE, like,
Yeah.
man, you guys gonna pull the trigger? If you pull the trigger, you got to stud here.
Yep.
He might have to do what Bryan did and find a way to get so over in this tournament without the help of the Bullet Club.
Yeah.
Including beating Evil.
Yeah.
Which he's gonna have to do.
Yep.
That it's so like organic to those fans that they'll be like, fuck it, let's just pull the trigger.
Okay, so that's your dark horse. Who do you have winning Block B?
Overall, because Kazuchika Okada's in that block,
Yeah.
probably him.
Okay.
Like, because to me,
And by the way, folks, yes, Okada would put Yano over.
Yeah.
He would.
oh, don't get it twisted. He would be happy to do it.
Yes.
That's his chaos
Oh, yeah.
buddy, by the way. That's his chaos teammate.
Yep,
He
yep.
would be happy to like have him cheat
Is
and
there
beat
any
him.
more perfect
He would
person-
laugh like the son of a bitch got me.
Is there anyone more perfect in a faction with the name than Yano and Chaos?
I know.
Just the name alone.
Well, people don't realize. Just quick story. Like,
yeah, please.
Him and Shinsuke, they used to literally cause chaos because Yano would cheat, of course, in his funny ways, his very Eddie
Oh, yeah.
Guerrero ways,
Yes.
and like.
Oh, a match between Yano and Eddie.
That would have been great. Who can out cheat who?
That.
You would die laughing the whole match. Like, oh my god, these two.
But you want to know the sad part? It would still be a great technical
It would be a
match.
great
No, it would
match.
be,
It would
yes.
still be a great technical
Because you'd be
match.
like, dude, this is the best shit you can see in pro wrestling. This
Yep.
shit's great.
Yep.
But it's hard. It's anytime Okada's in a block, I'm like, he is technically what they're like their prime ace is right now.
Yes.
A guy that they're like, you know what, we want to be safe. Okada.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh yeah, there we go.
You were saying about Shinsuke. What would Shinsuke do? during
oh,
the
and
chaos?
so Shinsuke would cheat as well. They would get involved in other people's matches, but without like physically getting involved. So they like would walk out and then act like they were going to get involved.
Like I said, folks.
Like Shinsuke would like act like he's playing the guitar.
Like I said, folks,
to distract somebody.
Shinsuke, no matter what you think has happened to him in WWE, he's just been Shinsuke.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He's just now he's got
I
to
love
surf
it.
more apparently.
Yeah.
So in New Japan, listen, WWE schedule is lightened up quite a bit.
Yeah.
New Japan, like, because as they televise almost everything, if you look at the schedule, you're like, yo, when the fuck do they give these guys a break?
Well, because isn't Okinawa Hall like 2 days after January the 6th,
Mm-hmm.
Wrestle Kingdom?
Mm-hmm.
There's no like.
There's
well,
literally no break.
There's the Raw after WrestleMania, then there's the SmackDown.
Yeah.
You get a 2-3 week break
Yeah.
before the next pay per view.
Yeah.
The very next 48 hours later, you're in Okinawa Hall.
Here's the thing
Am
about.
I saying that right? Okinawa.
Yeah. Or it might be or you might be talking about Kyrgyz Hall or something like that.
Something like that. Yeah.
But or here's the best thing, or I should say the worst thing, is that right after their biggest pay-per-view of the year, their biggest show, they already start building for the next show 24 hours later. So all these guys that just had 30-minute banger-ass matches now have to try to go put on 20-minute banger-ass matches like a day and a half later.
Yep.
Like they don't take a break after Wrestle
No.
Kingdom.
All right.
That'd be hell.
We will
And
be.
then they work that physical-ass style.
We will
Oh,
be.
yeah.
Since Jesse hasn't seen night 2, we'll update next week after the next night. We will update you guys next week on the updated standings because we love this tournament every year.
Oh, it's so good.
But now, Leroy.
And like I told people, I told Gene recently,
Yep.
I actually have a feeling they're actually going to keep this in fall because now they're getting more of the English eyeballs that they want to, including
So now,
us.
Leroy,
Yeah. Yes.
Leroy, you have not heard this. Jesse's going to rip this apart. Before we get to our very last segment, which will be, we're actually just going to go over Victory Road.
Okay.
Um,
By the way, the Vikings just took the lead.
Yep. Anyway, but Leroy.
Back and forth.
Leroy, Dave Meltzer has reported as of, I believe this was this morning he put this out.
Yeah, apparently.
Dave Meltzer wrote in the Wrestling Observer that Randy Orton was never a man who carried the company. Jesse, I'm just going to throw it right to you.
I saw that.
So what he said on top of that was he was not as much of a draw as Kenny Omega,
Yep.
Bryan Danielson.
Yep.
Who was the other name? Oh, you know what? It doesn't fucking matter.
Bullshit. I had to clear my throat there. Oh, sorry.
Randy Orton. I can't believe I have to say this about Randy Orton.
Yep.
Randy Orton outdraws all of them. Period. End of discussion. Why would you say something so stupid? I promise you all, this man used to be the gospel. And then since WWE burned him like twice, it's like he's so biased.
Extremely.
It's so.
Oh my God.
How is he not on the payroll at this point?
Of AEW?
Remember,
he is.
No, hold on. Remember, WWE gets a big person to come back. He spoils that within 24 hours, and now WWE has to announce something. Anything happens in AEW, we all knew Bryan Danielson was there. He didn't say a goddamn word till after the pay-per-view. Nothing. He didn't say a word about CM Punk. And that was all but confirmed.
Yep.
You know who should be even more ashamed of them fucking selves because he had him on his show, the podcast, or he did the podcast with him, and if someone told me he actually didn't say anything, and that's you, Brian Alvarez, you bitch made. Really? So you're not going to jump in front of Dave and be like, wait a minute, this dude has been a stud doing some of his best work as he just turned 40. 40 years old, and Randy Orton is still at the top of his game.
By the way, Randy Orton, it doesn't matter what he does. It doesn't matter if he's the Viper. It doesn't matter if he's legend. He just always exudes being a star.
Oh, yeah.
Decides to take this stuff on with Matt Riddle. Makes it the best thing to watch on Monday Night Television.
Yep.
Yeah, so true.
Yep.
And they have to use him in the main event, including with Bobby Lashley, but the man's not a draw.
No.
Have you lost your fucking mind?
Also, by the way,
I think he has.
Also, by the way, can we list the regular rivals he's been with? Batista,
John Cena, Triple H, Undertaker. I could go on and on. Drew McIntyre recently. Now Bobby Lashley. All he does is
he got Cody Rhodes over.
Yes, he did.
The only reason why maybe Cody's a star is because he worked with Randy.
Yeah. There's no question. That's why the man has never taken a shot at Randy Orton. This is asinine.
I've got nothing against the American Dragon, but here's the deal. Bryan Danielson.
Hey, Bryan Danielson is a draw now.
Here's the deal. Love him to death. He wasn't a draw until he got WWE. But by the time he got WWE, Randy was already drawing everything.
Yes.
Bryan Danielson, even though we call him one of the GOATs.
Yeah.
Even though we believe that, even though we love Bryan Danielson.
It doesn't happen without his rivalry with Randy Orton.
Well, not only that, but here's the deal. Take out his WWE run. He still never drew what Randy has drawn. And that's just a fact. And Kenny has never drawn anything because let me make this very clear.
That's Okada.
That was Okada.
That's Okada.
That was Okada.
I don't know how many times I have to say.
I swear to
that
God.
Was Okada.
We're going to do our research. Because guess what? I hate to say this, Jesse. You finally have to make good on your promise.
Okay.
And you have to detail Kenny's life in New Japan.
Oh, God.
We're going to do our research. Not a single match against Okada was Kenny the top billed name.
No.
No fucking way.
No.
And if I prove it wrong, prove it wrong. But I don't remember you saying Kenny Omega versus Okada. It was Okada versus Kenny Omega.
This is so asinine. This is like me.
He has said some stupid shit.
This is the dumbest shit he said.
This is up there as the dumbest shit.
This is the dumbest shit he said in 3 years because he said some really dumb shit in the last 2. This is like me. And we have a show. Maybe we go live. We constantly have 40,000 viewers, and I tell people, Undertaker wasn't that legendary.
Yeah.
Fans would want to come punch me in the face for saying something so stupid.
Yep.
Like
There
Randy Orton.
Hey, I got. If you want me to
Go
do
for it.
I've like top 10 rivals from the Sportster for Randy Orton.
Okay.
I think
hold on. The Sportsters are the ones that put out that weird ass article this morning.
I know.
So we're gonna go. Take this with a grain of salt.
But interesting.
Okay.
Number 10.
Yep.
Gold Dust.
Okay.
That's number 10.
That makes
Gold
sense.
Dust is more over in America than Kenny ever will
There we
be.
go.
That's true.
Number 9, Scott Steiner.
Oh God!
I thought that was
Steiner,
interesting.
baby.
Hardcore Holly, number 8.
Okay.
Yeah, I almost forgot about that. That was his first rivalry ever.
Bob.
With SmackDown.
Yeah, but yeah,
Number 7, Booker T.
Yes. Yes.
Booker's more over than Kenny ever hopes to be.
That's not a
Number
discussion.
6, Jesse's favorite guy, Goldberg.
Still more over. Jesse's
There we
not
go.
going to talk mad
He
about
is-
Bill
he
right
is
now.
over, but
he
I
is
hate
over,
him.
but Jesse's not a
Number
fan.
5, I do like the number 5 one,
Yep.
Shelton Benjamin.
Yes.
They had some very good
Shelton's,
matches.
I hate to say it, Shelton is actually more athletic than Kenny.
Shelton,
Shelton is actually a better wrestler than Kenny.
Well,
right.
listen.
End of conversation.
Listen.
At this advanced
yes.
age.
Let's be real. He's better than Kenny. He's better than Cody. He's actually always been better than Chris Jericho.
He's arguably better than Brock.
He is better than Brock.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right.
All right, go on.
Number 4,
We don't even want to get into that career because I'll get pissed.
Yep.
Rob Van Dam. Number 4.
It's RVD.
There you
Man,
go.
that was because that started with that disgusting looking RKO.
And then-
Yeah.
And here, the best ones. Number 3, Edge.
Okay.
Really at 3.
Yes.
Interesting.
Number 2, Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And their number 1 is interesting because somebody wasn't mentioned in this. Mick Foley is number 1.
Okay.
They have an interesting list.
It's an interesting list. I'm not
but I
100%.
still
I'm so-
disagree.
I'm surprised the Undertaker.
No
is
Triple
not in
H,
there.
no Undertaker.
Yep.
That's what they
So that
have.
just shows you the range of his career that he's worked with all these guys, and they weren't even on a list of a top 10.
By the way, John Cena should probably be number 1.
Yeah.
I mean, you could hate the feud,
Yep.
but it was one of the best feuds ever.
It also drew more money. Kenny.
Yes.
It drew more money, Dave.
one of their best.
Well, there's a few of them. You can another one.
This
They have
statement.
CM Punk in one of them.
This. Oh, by the way,
Benoit.
Jesse, what do you think?
I
about-
actually forgot about that. feud with
Christian.
CM Punk.
Jason, Jesse,
Oh, you're-
how do you feel about Dave stating that okay, I don't remember if this was Dave, but someone said that the Lucha Brothers versus the Bucks
was the best tag
cage
team
match.
ever.
No. It was better than the Dudleys versus Edge and Christian versus Matt Hardy and Jeff
Hardy
at
Boys.
at WrestleMania. It was better than that TLC match.
Because I remember someone said they discussed it on Busted Open because of course Bubba Ray was in that feud,
Yeah.
and Bubba Ray was too kind.
Yes.
Bubba Ray said, "I get it. People see this in the moment and they feel that way." He's like, "I just disagree."
But that match has lived on for generations.
Bubba, you're too damn kind. Just tell the truth.
Yep.
Just tell the truth. That was stupid.
Yep.
That was stupid.
What those 6 men did that night.
What those 6 men did for 2 years.
Yes.
If not for them tag team, there wouldn't be people wanting to be tag team wrestlers anymore. Because remember, that was just about at the end of WCW's run. And by the way, they stopped caring about tag team wrestling at the end of their run.
Oh yeah.
So
You blame Vince.
Right.
Eric Bischoff forgot about it.
Vince Russo didn't give
I
a
found
shit.
a better one for Randy Orton. I think works better.
Okay.
I'll do the top 4.
Okay.
'Cause that makes the top 4.
Let's go.
Triple H.
Yep.
Yeah.
Triple H. Undertaker.
Okay,
number 3.
yeah.
Number 2, John Cena.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Mick Foley's number 1.
Okay.
Catch the
Okay.
second.
I'd accept that more.
Christian was
The Mick
number
Foley
5.
one made him. I'll admit that.
Well, the Mick Foley one did
him,
make
yeah.
it.
But anyway,
Christian was number 3.
yeah. But
Christian
anyway,
was number 5.
number 5.
Oh, okay.
But anyway,
But
back to
Triple
this.
H in top
Back to this.
4.
That match set the standard of hardcore tag team wrestling.
Oh,
They're still trying to live up to that match.
it's not even discussable.
Yeah. Yeah.
No one has lived up to that WrestleMania match where they basically stole the night.
And Edge and Christian almost died if they'd stood up on those tables. They would have died because those were not stable. He told Christian, "Do not stand up. We will die."
Right.
He said that.
Right.
That is so. Yeah. Oh.
Oh, but here's the deal. It's a moment where everything should have gone wrong, but everything went right. It is. It actually is. It is a moment in the history of professional wrestling where something should have gone wrong all night long.
Guys, I gotta say this. Wrestling fans, whoever listens to us, share this with other wrestling fans. I hate to do this. Just stop listening to Dave Meltzer.
You have to.
Like it's gotten so bad with him. I almost have to treat him like a TMZ of wrestling now.
You have to.
Because it's even in his own
And you've met this man.
I have. Even in his own booking of Booker of the Year, as you said, he's like, well, I mean, and then gushes about New Japan, but still
That was
gives
Company of the Year. The Company of the Year was AEW, but the entire award acceptance speech, whatever he writes, whatever you want to call that, the eulogy really is what it was. He did nothing but praise New Japan. New Japan, AEW was in there for like 2 sentences. It was mostly New Japan. Even Jim Cornette, who doesn't watch New Japan, said it almost sounds like you're trying to make New Japan the winners while putting over AEW. So you know what? No, I am. This man.
I used to take his word as gospel.
You did.
We
I'm
can't
done
anymore.
with him.
You can't.
Because I don't know how in the hell. And by the way, after I get back to work, I'm calling in to that show on Friday. Brian Alvarez, you're gonna have to deal with me. You're gonna have to deal with me, and I'm damn sure gonna freely promote us on that show.
Oh hell yeah!
Because there is no way in hell I can't believe you sat there and you allowed him to spew this nonsense while you're. I cannot believe he didn't go. Whoa, Dave, are you just being a prisoner of the AEW moment right now?
Yellow cups on the
Wrestling fans, you cannot take anything this man says seriously anymore.
No.
You just don't do it. Just don't do it. Just go to
the man who never gave.
It's okay to listen to
Sting-
Sean Ross Sapp because at least he'll
Yeah.
admit in his reviews
The
that he's
guy
biased.
who never gave Flair Steamboat or Flair and Sting a 5-star, but he gave more 5-star matches to one of the Bucks, who apparently is the GOAT because he has more 5-star matches. But he never gave one to Flair versus Steamboat. And again, we're not here to talk about Ric Flair and any of his personal shit.
Yeah.
But in ring, what we saw on television,
Yeah.
Flair and Steamboat never got a 5. None of their trilogies got a 5. Sting and Flair at it was either Clash of Champions or Halloween Havoc didn't get a 5. But Matt Jackson or Nick Jackson, one of the two,
It might have been Nick.
Yeah, they have the most 5-star match. He gave a 5-star to that cinematic street fight between LAX and the Best Friends, but it was cinematic, which he doesn't rate for WWE, but he'll rate that a 5-star.
Don't listen to the man anymore.
Hypocrisy at its best.
And one other place that I get news from sometimes,
Yeah.
it's I don't think in a whole, but there's a few writers from E-Wrestling News
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
are very AEW fanboys.
They're
Yeah.
just going with what's hot right
Big
now.
Yeah.
time. And yeah, I've gotten an argument with him a couple times on Facebook
Yeah.
about shit, and
It's
fun.
one of those. I hate to do this to Dave, but I clearly apparently I have to start we have to stop listening to this man.
Yep.
And like I said, I'm going off on Brian Alvarez
Oh yeah,
because
I would.
how do you allow this? Listen, there's opinions, and then if someone makes such an egregious statement, even if it's their opinion,
Yeah.
you almost have to go. All right, you're going a little crazy here.
Randy Orton, just on longevity, when he wasn't in the title picture, still drew more money
By the
than
way,
Kenny ever.
this definitely just reeks of him being bitter at WWE.
Yeah.
Because this also reeks. Remember,
This is the guy who said he had an inside source that after the first ever AEW pay-per-view, all in, that Natty and Renee were pulled into a room, which was completely shot down
Yeah.
a week later. But this is the hypocrisy of the fans. You jumped on that Adam Cole story, and Adam Cole flat out said, "I have no idea what you're talking about,"
Yeah.
and you were goddamn. And by the way, I was this way at the end of the show last week. You motherfucking hypocrites and your goddamn crickets when Adam Cole actually says something complimentary of
Right.
Vince. You don't
Right.
even come out and say you're wrong.
Right.
You don't even say Adam's being paid to say it.
Right.
You literally say jack shit.
right. No, you're right.
That is why you're bullshit. Because we'll sit up here and we'll talk about we predicted this wrong, we predicted that wrong. We're idiots for this. Jesse's taking in all the
A
heat for
lot
what
of
he said.
L's.
But the fact of the matter is that we do not stay silent
No.
when this shit happens. You literally say nothing. Adam Cole literally literally put Vince over. Literally said he misses NXT because it made him what he is today.
Right.
Literally said he has nothing but good things to
Right.
say. And that's him being honest. Because
Yeah.
guess what? Adam Cole is not Machine Gun trying to hold on. No
No.
offense to Carl.
No. Because to get on him real quick,
Yeah.
stop being bitter.
Yeah.
You were 4-time tag team champions while you were there. Stop being bitter.
And you only win because of AJ.
And you're bitter because they let you go.
Yep.
That's literally it.
Yep.
Yep.
You're not collecting that big WWE safe check anymore.
Yeah.
And so now you actually got to go work your ass off again.
Well, that's what I think
Sorry,
is funny.
half worked their ass
Well, that's
off
what I
again.
think is
Yep.
funny when Luke talked to Jay White when they were in Impact, being like, "We left, and then you and your boys can earn a livable wage." Jay White's getting paid more than either one of you boys ever made in New Japan.
Jay White's making a ton of money in New
Jay
Oh,
White's
yes.
getting paid just
That
fine.
man lives in a castle.
Yes, he does. But here's
yeah.
the deal. Here's the deal.
Even with his sacrifice.
Adam
Sacrifice.
Cole
Baby.
was honest.
Trademarked.
He was honest.
Yes, he was.
He flat out said, I hold nothing against. Adam Cole left for two reasons. One,
Baby.
he likes Tony Khan's infectiousness of wrestling. Vince has always been business. We know this.
Yeah.
And number two, if AEW had come along before NXT was, before the
He
NXT
would've
came
went
calling,
there.
he would have gone there, and we would have never seen the Undisputed
Exactly.
Era.
No.
Exactly. And here's the other
By
thing.
the way, it was so good, I literally feel like him debuting at TakeOver was last week.
I know.
Everything, I actually remember almost everything Adam Cole's done in NXT.
I know.
That's how great it was in
Yeah.
NXT, and that's how fast 5 years
And
went.
by the way, that's how you know, like,
God, yeah.
people trying to make up these stories now about Daniel Bryan. Brian Danielson, he already said, hey, listen, man, they reached out to New Japan. They were going
They
to...
tried.
They were going to let me... They told me, like, listen, we're going to try to work something out so you can
just-
go wrestle in the G1.
Just because
Yeah.
Tony Khan was willing to bend over a barrel to New Japan and Nick Khan wasn't, doesn't mean that you won that. Sorry, it doesn't. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the best part of this show. It's the last segment because it has to be. It's a new day. Yes, it is. Motherfucking is. This segment was done perfectly.
Yes, it was.
Oh, my God.
Before we even get to what I'm talking
Yes, it
about,
was.
Bobby Lashley, thank you, sir.
Yes.
What an amazing job. Reports are he was 100% healthy,
Yeah.
but he sold it like death.
By the way, so apparently he took a little heat from fans. Not like actual.
No,
like,
yeah.
But because by the way, this is why I hate this man as a camera director.
Yep.
Because they pointed to Bobby and they caught him kind of smiling at Big E
Yep.
after he lost
Yep.
on Monday, which I didn't see. But yeah, apparently there's like a frame where like
Yep.
they catch him and he's kind of smiling, shaking his head because apparently Bobby was all in for this.
Oh, yeah. And by the
Oh,
way,
yeah.
number one, for you idiots that were like, oh, they announced it to steal ratings. Yeah, because AEW didn't do that for freaking 2.5 years, you dumb
That's
shit.
all they've done.
Exactly. But
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, but he's not. Roman stays strong.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to make up stupid shit with Roman. He gets to keep doing his thing, and Big E gets what he has deserved
And
for
apparent-
so
for
long.
such
And
a long
apparently
time.
this was the plan anyway. They just
Big
moved it up.
E is
They-
the WWE.
right. They moved it up.
champion.
They moved it up 3 weeks.
Yep.
Not because of AEW, but because now, by the way, this I did mention on the show
Yep.
before. WWE is getting themselves into trouble when you allow Fox to buy SmackDown and let NBC have you Raw in NXT because USA was pissed.
Yep.
Because they're like, wait a minute, Raw sucks.
Yep.
And seriously, SmackDown gets over, it's steadily now over 2.5 million.
Yes.
Most of the time.
Yes.
You need to do better.
Yep.
Because we're paying, it's like they're paying you 1.5. We're still paying you 1.3 billion for this.
Yep.
You need to do better.
Yep.
And so yeah, they moved it up 3 weeks to
I
appease
don't
the
care
network.
anything because here's the deal: is there a more deserving SOB in this business?
Oh no.
No.
There isn't. And you know what? Normally we say that, and then we're like, well, in fairness, no, legit, legit. I got nothing bad to
I
say
gotta
here.
be honest. When they announced it, I told you off the show. I told Zach when they announced it, I'm like, fuck, he's gonna lose. Because I'm like, they've only
You didn't think they were
Yeah.
gonna. You even put in the lounge. You didn't think
I'm
they were
like, they're
gonna
not
do it.
pulling the trigger. He's gonna lose.
You thought this was gonna be a Baron Corbin squash
Yes.
to just remove the case.
Because I was
You
like,
thought
I'm like,
that.
fuck, they're taking the case off of him. What happened?
Yeah.
Because I'm like, they usually never. they very rarely announce a guy is going to cash in.
Yep.
John
Yeah.
Cena, of course, because he's a big star, so
Yeah.
he announced it. Brock Lesnar, of course,
RVD announced it, yep.
so they could do the ECW show.
Yep.
But it's very rare. There's been 20-something winners. That means that's the fourth
and
time.
by the way, don't tell me that. Yes, look, you'll probably never register the CM Punk pop again, but don't tell me they didn't pop for Big E.
They did.
That was a monster pop.
That was great. Dolph's is bigger, but Dolph's was such a setup.
Well, here's the thing about Dolph, though. There was a fear amongst all of us back then, like they're never going to pull the trigger on Dolph. Like,
Oh, yeah.
He's actually got the look. Like he's very Shawn Michaels like. But we were like, there's something backstage with the powers that be.
Yep.
In our minds, it was Vince and whoever else used to be at top there, John Laurinaitis.
Yep.
And we were like, man, there's no way.
But not to take away, guys, this was great.
Oh, I love it.
This
My
was,
kids loved it.
Oh man.
They got on their belts, their
Yep.
championship belts, and they were doing just like
Yep.
the boys, the
And by the way-
WWE. Oh, they did it.
And by the way, to just let New Day be New Day in this
Right.
thing. And by the way, I don't think that Big E, even on a human level, cares that they just jumped right in the ring after it was. I'm surprised it took them that long to get to the ring.
Oh,
Because they
yeah.
knew about this.
Right.
But it's like, it was genuine. It was real. I mean, folks, this was one of those moments where it's like, okay, Vince, you're the master of making us forget so much shit. You are the godsend of making us forget about it. And by the way, I hate to say it, because that's how the world works, and even the people that we've called hypocrites, this is how they work. The second Big E comes out tomorrow night, we're all going to forget about the plane ride from hell. For that 10 to 15
for about to say,
minutes.
for better or for worse.
For better or for worse,
We're gonna forget.
We're going to forget, and we're going to watch Big E celebrate. Because goddamn was that awesome.
Well, he's
Just
gonna-
remember, people, tomorrow night on. By the way, this has got to have a disqualification ending, because I'm like, yeah, this is definitely like the network going
Yes.
like, you son of a bitch. Then you let the new WWE champion go to SmackDown. Vince, we want the ratings. So guess who's coming to Raw tomorrow night?
Yeah.
The
Acknowledge
Bloodline,
him.
the tribal chief,
Acknowledge
the head
me.
of the table. Acknowledge me.
It's been quite a while since he's been on.
A year and a half.
Yep.
But I think they're doing a little bit to kind of probably set up more excitement for the draft.
Yes.
Of course, and that's why they're doing it.
Well, and then
I appreciate that.
They sent Kayla to do that on purpose, by the way.
Yes.
So she purposefully, for some reason on SmackDown, kind of spoiled that apparently anytime they say there's a rumor, it's definitely happening.
Yes.
But especially when it's their reporters, quote unquote, on
Yeah.
TV, it's definitely happening.
Yep.
Apparently Brock is going to Raw,
Yep.
which probably means at some point we're getting Brock and Bobby.
Yep.
But why say that now? And like I said, that's what has me so confuzzled about the demon and him and Brock, because of course they already booked.
To be fair though, it's gonna force you to watch one way or another.
I'm about to say, no, I mean, we all have to watch it now.
Yeah.
Because you're like, wait, maybe they actually do take this thing off before Saudi Arabia.
Yep.
And like they just
have Brock and Roman go straight up.
Go smash each other in Saudi Arabia for millions of dollars, and then they move on.
And by the way, folks, enough of this blood money. If you're offered that kind of money, you're going.
Let me make something
Just
very
do
clear
a
to
show
people.
that you normally do.
Coming out of the pandemic, they upped the money. All I'm going to say is this. I don't like the Prince, any of that shit.
No.
Is there a bomb dropping on my head? No, we're good.
All right.
But and then the show goes off the air. I'm sorry.
And then we're done.
But if someone offered me $3 billion to bring my wrestling show to your city, I'm bringing it.
Yep.
Yeah, I would too.
Like,
I wouldn't.
I hate to be that guy, but I can wash away my sins in that money later.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
like I can pay all my wrestlers very, very well just for that one trip.
Yep.
Because now they can put a lot of that cash into the reserves.
Yep.
Like,
Well,
they're
they
getting,
get-
or I think 2.2 billion or something like that. They upped the money for this trip.
Yep.
You go.
Yep.
Now, Vince still has it out there. The wrestlers who aren't comfortable going, including Sami Zayn, if they don't want to go.
Yeah.
The same thing they did with Bryan Danielson. You
Yep.
don't have to go.
Nope.
They're very okay with it.
Yep. I also loved how back when they first reported AJ didn't want to go, and then AJ was on the show. So it's like, oh,
Well, so because here's this thing. So they still pay those guys that don't want to go, but they just pay them what they would have paid them for a night of working like a Raw television or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But the people who go get the bonus, which is
Which,
why
by
you
the way,
see
is
legends.
how any other business works. So I don't know why they're in trouble for this shit.
So that's why the whole
Oh.
thing is like if they don't
They
want to
make-
go, they're not in trouble. They're
they make
still getting
damn
paid. to
good
sit and
money
look at
going.
it.
But back
Exactly.
to this.
Oh.
Big E has earned every goddamn thing he's ever been given in this
I
company.
think the most touching story, and he told it, and I don't know if this is the last thing that'll be said. So he was on, I believe it's called The Bump.
Yep.
I mean, I'll give them credit. I thought they were going to pull the plug on this fucking show like 6 months ago because nobody watches it. People will watch the snippets, but nobody fucking watches it live.
Yeah.
But he talked about how, because people forget, he was one of Brody Lee's best friends.
He was there-
outside
Oh,
of
yeah.
Bray Wyatt.
He was there when Amanda told Brody
Yeah.
Lee Jr. that Dad wasn't coming home.
Yeah, unfortunately.
He was there.
And the first...
Big E and Cody.
Yeah, and the first people who called him after the win, he was like, I thought it was going to be my family. No, it was Brody Lee, or it was Amanda and the two kids.
Yep.
Oh,
And they were so happy for him. He said, he's like, I broke. He's like, to see Brody's kids.
Yep.
And just to hear, like, Amanda didn't even, she was just like, you're so deserving.
Yep.
Like, oh my God, your family. Like, because he was just shocked that they were the first ones to call.
Mhm.
And he was just like, he told people, it was like, a part of me on Raw, because he said they went to celebrate, but he felt half empty.
Yep.
Because he's like, as I'm walking to the back, he realized, damn, my best friend isn't here to greet me do this.
Yep.
Like,
Yep.
that's how close they were.
Yep.
Yeah.
And by the way, this is why I think why we've been trying to kill the hypocrisy between the fans.
Yep.
Because big ups to a lot of AEW wrestlers.
Oh, they were high on this.
They were like, yo, couldn't happen
They
to
were.
a more
Oh, yeah.
deserving dude.
He interacted with some of the Dark Order
Yep.
guys. Yeah.
Of course, Dustin tweeted.
Yep.
Cody damn sure was going to tweet because
Oh,
that's
yeah.
one of his friends.
Yeah.
Hell, give Kenny Omega some credit.
Yep.
It was like, damn, couldn't have happened to a better guy.
Yep.
Because they've actually done the game stuff together in the past.
But again, welcome to the real world AEW
Yes.
fan base. There's a war between you and the WWE fans. There's not,
Not
a
the
war between
wrestlers.
talent.
No.
There's
No.
not.
No.
It maybe makes them have a little more fun at work, and maybe they're all a little more jacked up to do
Yeah.
it. But there's not a war between
No.
talent.
Not in this day and age. Most of the wrestlers get along.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like, I mean,
they
you got to
do.
be a real asshole
But,
today on the
but also, I didn't want to do this, but I think it's worth mentioning.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse said it in the lounge, and Jesse's been trying to kill another rumor for a long time. Jesse, is Vincent Kennedy McMahon a racist?
No.
I've asked this on the show
Duh.
like 3 times.
Like-
but I have to keep doing it because people keep trying to make
I
it.
mean, technically, people will consider The Rock the first black champion. Like
Yeah.
I said, I personally don't. Not because the Samoans aren't black.
Yeah.
But he's done Samoan champions for the longest time.
Exactly.
So I've always considered Booker T and Mark Henry his first black champions.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But people were angry.
But he's always had. Listen, Ahmed Johnson didn't become champion because he was fucking dangerous in the ring.
Yes.
But he was someone that he wanted to put the gold on.
Yes.
So no, he's not. He's not a racist. Listen, Farouk will tell you the man is not a. Now he has said some insensitive ass shit in his day.
do you think?
Like
Do you
somebody
think-
hasn't before.
Jesse,
he
do
was
you-
born in like the 1940s or 50s.
Jesse, do you think it's because of? Do you think they only think this because of the Booker T angle?
There might be some people who haven't let it go.
Even though Booker's come out and said that.
I mean, I let it go when I was like in my 20s because that happened when I was a teenager.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I was one of the people, like especially like the kids and some of the younger adults back then.
Yeah.
Especially in New York City when he said that shit in front of New York, talking about people like me to people. By the way, he's just being a gray heel.
Yeah.
But I'm like, man, Paul Levesque almost got his fucking ass killed in New York.
Yeah.
New Yorkers will fuck you up if they don't like you. But I was one of the people who understood as he grew up. Booker T would have never done that story if he wasn't comfortable with
Nope.
it. And Vince would have
Just
never put
like
it out
Jeff
there.
has recently come out and said nothing that WWE has ever pitched him made him feel uncomfortable to
Yeah.
do it. So it's like, again, when these guys come out and say things from their own mouths, why is the internet silent? There's never follow-ups, but Adam Cole's thing comes out with Keith Lee, and there's 30 fucking articles about
And
it.
by the way, it proved to not be true.
Yeah, but the thing about it is,
Which apparently, before he even confirmed that it wasn't true, Keith Lee ribbed apparently Adam like, man, I'm glad, I'm happy to see you kind of do well, but man, you would have made a great mouthpiece for me.
yeah, right. but
Because Keith Lee apparently can't talk anymore.
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
But again, here's the thing: Big E, from a person to a wrestler to a person who came from the world of bodybuilding bodylifting,
Yeah.
heavy lifting,
Yeah.
but got it, understood it, was willing to work at
Yeah.
it. He was also, and I think to this day, is still the only black NXT champion.
Yes.
Yes, I believe so.
Yes.
So
is right,
so
yeah.
they believed in him back in the old NXT when it was developmental on developmental.
Oh, yeah.
So I didn't want to bring that up because I don't want to steal Big E's moment, but
Yeah.
it's something that always comes up in these situations.
Yeah, no, we've got to kill that. No, Big
Yeah.
E. No, Vince McMahon is not. Vince McMahon has never been a racist. Him saying "What's up, my nigga" to John Cena once was probably a bad idea because now it forever lives on the internet.
Yep.
Yeah.
But otherwise, listen, Vince is not
To
a
be
racist.
fair, though, Jesse, and
By the way, back then I actually laughed at it as
can
a
I-
young black kid.
well, but here's the other thing,
Yeah,
Jesse.
yeah.
I also want to point something out. I don't want to speak from the African American community,
Yeah.
but the word did not have the visceral hatred in that period that it does now,
Well,
and
and
maybe that's a social media.
Well, it was the way he said it, because he was clearly making fun of John Cena, but trying to be cool with the black and all that. And,
Yeah.
and he did say it with the ER. So
Yeah.
most people were just like, he did not just say that shit on national television.
Booker T
But,
was like,
but Booker T was like,
Tell me
I
I
didn't
didn't
just- I
tell
didn't
me
just
I
hear
didn't
that.
just see that.
but otherwise, it was most of us as we got older let it go because
Can I
it
also
was
point
like.
something out? Can I also point something out? Even though it was live syndicated television, how many times are people in a Quentin Tarantino film and they say it, and nobody gets mad about that? And there was a lot of hard ERs in Django.
And well, here's the thing.
There was a lot of them.
And now here's
Great movie, by the way.
By the way,
Great movie. You want to go back to saying there was a lot? Blazing Saddles.
Yes.
Oh
Which is
my
a classic
God.
comedy.
great comedy, by the way. But yeah.
But, oh my Lord.
It's one of those things where the connotation of him being racist is just because since The Rock we hadn't seen a lot of black champions. But
Well, like we talked about this. What person of African American descent, just taking away the skin color, who had lived up to a championship level at that point?
I mean, and
Not
then the
many.
two who got the runs were Booker T and Mark Henry.
Yeah.
But people are always like, well, I mean, it was the World Heavyweight Championship, which they didn't even take. It's like, yes, they did. That was SmackDown's biggest title.
And SmackDown was hot at
Yes.
that point. They were
Yeah.
at that point proving to be quite the contender to the
Yes.
crown of Raw.
Yes.
And don't tell me that King Booker wasn't over. King Booker was one of the greatest
Yes.
things
Yes,
he
he
ever.
was.
He
Oh, my
brings
God.
it back. That's all you got to know. And by the way, that was the best Mark had ever looked in WWE.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Mark Henry was as
By the way, for people who don't know, the Hall of Pain was kind of a rib because Vince was like, man, every time you beat up a guy, it looks like you're putting him into the Hall of Pain. And then as they were laughing, Mark went, damn, Vince, that sounds pretty good.
that actually works.
That
yeah.
does sound
Vince
good,
was
yes.
like, damn, that does sound pretty
I
good.
just think that not just racism with Vince, but just Vince's creative ideas in general. I feel like while yes, sometimes shit is just bad, some people just don't give it a chance.
Yeah,
John Moxley comes to mind with the whole putting on the gas man. John Moxley, look, while that shit is still funny
was
because it
weird.
was stupid.
that shit was so stupid, though. Like I said, I never thought that was bad booking.
Yeah.
It got weird though when they did the whole fake needle in the ass and like,
Yeah.
I don't want
Yeah.
these people to touch me, and then they put the siren on and shit. I'm like, okay, this is weird and kind of stupid because this has never been a part
But in
of his
my
character.
opinion,
Yeah.
but in my
Yeah.
opinion, I always said, was John maybe not pitching his own ideas as well? Could John have maybe was John just over WWE at that
I
point
was
and
gonna
just
say, I
book
think
it?
John at that
He
point
might
was
have been.
probably just over it.
That's what I'm saying. Mick Foley, no matter what era of Mick Foley you want to talk about, he always had ideas.
Yeah.
He always kept coming back.
Yeah.
Maybe John was just done, but don't blame that on Vince.
Right.
Just because you got questionable booking ideas doesn't mean that it's the shit that you want it to believe.
By
it
the way,
was.
John got to go out, unlike most, as a winner. Usually you have to do a job on your way
Yep.
out. John actually got to go out with his friends as a winner.
Yep. But
Like-
anyway, back to this. We love you, Biggie. Thank you. I love it.
Yes.
It was so good. The pop was great. And you know what? What was interesting was this was one of the better matches in which you actually thought maybe Bobby was going to pull it out.
Because he did hit the spear.
He did.
And
Oh, yeah.
so far, besides Randy Orton and maybe Drew McIntyre,
And at
no
that
one has
moment,
kicked out of it.
that's when I knew Jesse was going to text me and be like, "They're not putting it on him." Even after Biggie kicked out, I was waiting for Jesse to text me and be like, "Yeah, no, they're still not going to do it."
Shit, I told you he's
And
gonna
then it
lose.
happened, and damn, the internet just loved
By
it.
the way, Bobby
Oh, yeah.
Credit, he did not kick out, protecting the big ending finisher. Like,
Yeah.
like I said, big ups to Bobby.
Yep.
Big ups to WWE, who, yes, were pressured by the network, but you know what? When I've always said WWE seems to do their best shit when their back is against the wall.
See, it's interesting because I think write this down because okay, I might be on the show next week or not. We'll talk about that off the air. But here's the deal: put this down because I want to do this the next time I'm on the show.
All right.
WWE always does well under Jesse said under pressure, but is the problem maybe that they still don't see AEW as competition? And we're going to come at that from the AEW side,
Okay.
not the WWE side, because everyone keeps saying, why are they not picking it up? But Jesse just said they always do their best work.
Yeah.
But that's what people always say. So what you're saying is not new,
Yeah.
but if people are wondering why they're not picking it up with AEW, it's like maybe they still don't see them as competition. So we need to analyze that, when we get a chance. So we'll write that down. We'll
Yeah,
analyze
got that, yeah.
But anyway, this was great. Loved it. We're going to save Victory Road till next week because I actually do want to watch it again because I did get a
I
link
actually
to it.
haven't seen it
Yeah,
yet, and I
yeah.
would like
Yeah,
to see
I
it.
gotta watch
So
some of that
we'll
too,
do that
so.
next week. But anyway, great show. A lot of interesting stuff to talk about. And my final words on the plane ride from hell. It's going to be 10 years before we really know what happened on that plane. So we'll save it till then. But thank you all so very much, and we will talk to you guys as soon as we can. Once again, find us on Spotify, iTunes, iHeartRadio. I love saying that last
God,
one.
yes.
so
Oh,
good.
yes.
Podomatic.com. We love talking about where we started and where we still are. All these other places are great ways to find us. But hey, man, Podomatic's been good to us. Can't say they
We're
haven't.
still
Also,
in the
as-
top
as-
5 always.
And also, even if you don't find me on there, you can always shout a question out to Leroy on Twitter. _13 cards, I believe.
Yeah.
Yep. That link is now on our Facebook.
Okay, so
So, yeah.
I believe _13 cards, and find us. Listen, find us on Facebook. I've always said you can also find me privately if you disagree with something and you're like, man, get me on the show.
All
Jesse,
right.
come find me on Facebook.
All right, we'll do it.
Or
That's it,
find me
yeah.
on Twitter at jstow_is_awesome. I love to hear from
And
people.
of course, look forward to this Friday when Jesse will be ripping Brian Alvarez a new one. Thank you all
Oh,
so
definitely
much.
then be on the Twitter because I will be ripping him a new one.
There we are. Thank you all so much from Zach, from Leroy, from
Oh,
Jesse.
yes.
We will talk to you all next time. Thank you.
Take care, guys.